what you call it. So we're gonna be naming books, and because I got all my papers and everything ready to go, I just want to just pull out the books that I'm gonna use. We even got a good ritual we can put people under today if people want to get down with that. Give them some juice. Like I said, I think she got 2 copies of this Complete Prophecies of Nostradamus left. So I believe, trying to see the stuff that's usable here. Guys are eating, that's a good one. I always put the book along out. Yeah, okay. And okay, this is a book that was banned ever since Honorable Elijah Muhammad mentioned it in 1973. And it's funny, this thing was printed, I think they say this thing was printed, it had about 30 or 40 editions. And then all of a sudden, it stopped being printed because Honorable Elijah Muhammad mentioned it to his people. One of the few books he mentioned to the people, he mentioned this book, Dramatic Prophecies of the Great Pyramids, by Rudolfo Benavides, whatever it is, Benavides, B-E-N-A-V-I-D-E-S. Well, you can spell it whatever. Rudolfo. And Dramatic Prophecies of the Great Pyramids, and it hadn't been printed since 1973. But there's another good book, this one, Peter Lemesurier, The Great Pyramid Decoded, which is one I think she has. Did she get any of these in? I think she might have gotten some of these in, I'm not sure. This is one that you can get, and I think that he was inspired by this book or influenced by this book, even though he might not. Great Pyramid Decoded by Peter Lemesurier, L-E-M-E-S-U-R-I-E-R. He's dealing with more on the Christian line, so he's going to be saying Jesus, that the Great Pyramid says that the Great Pyramids foretold based on the timeline, said that Jesus, it gave you the right time when Jesus would occur and all that, but actually he didn't know about Heru, so it doesn't really make a difference about the name. You understand? It doesn't make a difference about the name. But what we're trying to teach people right now is based on a Kabbalistic perspective, which you are the Christ, because there's a Christ in you, and that's what we're going to deal with also when I get into the biblical prophecies also, biblical prophecies. So as we go on, I'll give you some good books to deal with those things. And what it is I think about a month ago, about a month and a half ago, the Spirit said, now you need to go and deal with the biblical stuff, because that is just as much metaphysical. You know, we always say that the Bible there's other keys up in there. So right now we're going to rescue those keys. You see, so we're going to deal with a lot of that today. That's why I said it's crucial to have a pencil and a piece of paper. And if you don't get anything, save your paper space for that, because when you go out, there might be that brother and the sister out there that might need you. There might be the brother and sister out there that might need you to get him, but he knows this knowledge based on the Bible. So if you can go into the Bible and show him, you can get more and more people. You know what I'm saying? You know, that whole thing, catching flies with honey, you know. So it's crucial that we do that at this particular time. Decode the Bible. Revelations, Daniel, apocalyptic books. Like I said, Revelation is one. You know that one. But other apocalyptic books is Daniel, Matthew, and if you take Exodus and read Exodus now other than later, because the Exodus story that you see in the Bible came out of Egypt. It was an Egyptian story because they had an Exodus. And just, you know, they had an Exodus, and we'll go into the explanation of that also too. So if you read it that way, you can understand. The evil Pharaoh was not 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, because historically that don't pan out. The most divine people on the planet. You see, they're talking about the evil Pharaoh. Just means the king that they were talking about, and because they didn't have the name of America and all of that stuff, they just said, well, we'll just choose a city that's popular now. That would be the empire back then. You understand how that goes? But they do recognize Philadelphia in the book of Revelations, and it's the Philadelphia in the United States. Why did they do that? Because they know, based on their prophetic history, that Philadelphia was what? They didn't have America, but Philadelphia was the first capital of the United States. So therefore, instead of saying America, they gave Philadelphia in the book of Revelations. Even though Philadelphia was named after Philadelphia, Greece, they was not talking about Philadelphia, Greece, because they was naming Philadelphia. Now, I see you bought that one? That's a hellified book. I don't know how many more they got left, but it's a real good book, Secret of the Andes, on some channelings. The guy, George Hunt Williamson, was abducted by 2 aliens, and he wrote Secret Places of the Lion, Other Tongues of the Flesh, and Secret of the Andes under the name Brother Philip. And it's one of the best books. It's got a lot of good stuff on Atlantis, and there's in the back of the book they got something called a transcript of the hierarchies, where each entity is coming down and telling him things. And the book was written in 1961 in England. It was released, I think, in 93 or 92 here. But in the book he says that America, in 1961, that America is the most evil place on earth. Well, hell, that's powerful to say in 1961. It wasn't until they blew Kennedy head off until white people said, hey, maybe black people are telling the truth. Maybe this is something. And, you know, they didn't really get political until the country got away from them with the hippies following our struggles, you see, in the LSD type trip that the country got away from them. They had to put an end to the hippie thing with that Kent State, you see, when they had to say, well, okay, we're going to blow some of y'all cracker heads off. So, but that's a real good book for future references. We're going to give other good books out in a few minutes. Okay, so I guess I'm going to start. First, I guess we got to pay homage to the ancestors. So you just want me to pour it in this plant, right? Okay, it's not going to have a leak in it or nothing, is it? Okay, that's cool. All right. So I guess I'm going to do something different today. I guess I'll go by a list, too. This has got a good list. Here, I'll go by a list today. I usually just pour it off the top of my head, but sometimes I just, you know, I'll go by a good list. I think I got one in here. We'll do all the Semitic gods, the Kabbalistic gods, the Vodun gods, and the Yoruba gods in here. And I have this particular list. I know I always promise to leave the list behind, and people come up weeks after, and I never leave the list. But we'll deal with this list. So let's deal with the ancestors first. I'm already sweating. I should have worn this shirt, but it don't make no difference, huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah, but well, that's cool, because my whole back, you see. So, you know, like it is. I didn't get no African clothes in all my other lectures. I bought some vests, because every time I got my money on something, you see what I was buying books. So somebody, I think, kindly donated a top up at Hassan's place out at South DeKalb Mall, because she worked up there. So they donated a top and all, so you know how that go. And also, all my money went in the books, so I got a top, you see. I know they say I'm tired of seeing them same little tired little vests. I say, hell, them vests, I had about 3 vests. I say, them baby, they done been to New York, Philadelphia, Detroit, and all that. So they say, well, hell, they got to get that nigga something, you know. I got a bunch of suit coats and all that stuff. And on my first videos, I had that on. I said, okay, the pants ain't bad. I said, but a suit coat is basically a little vain. Now, that's kind of vain now. You up in the big suit coat and all, you know. So I say, well, hell. So they donated this top. And, you know, they had some pants, but they didn't go with the bottom. So, hell, I couldn't wear that. But I say, cool, you know, this is cool. Now, let's deal with the libations. This is a list. Well, I guess if they wanted to, somebody might can run somewhere and Xerox the list if they wanted to. This is a list. They have like Roman, Greek, Norse, which is your Celtic, which Hindu, Vodun, Santeria, which would be Yoruba, and the Sephra off of the Kabbalah. Now, the Greek and the Roman, don't think that's white people, because white people didn't invent gods. These gods here were left over and put together when Greece and Rome was black, you see. So if you call out the Greek and the Roman, you're calling out also black gods. So we're going to just go down this list, And first I just do one to Awas, Ashe Cthulhu, Ashe Newt, Ashe Apit, Ashe Tired, Ashe Layla, Ashe Allah, Ashe Nakumpa, Ashe Umbelenga, Ashe Nomo, Ashe Unkulakulu, Ashe Thunderdog, Ashe Thunderbird, Ashe Jah Nessie, Ashe Ra Nessie, Ashe Shabnigara, Ashe Mithra, Ashe Thou, Ashe Au, Ashe Sulika, Ashe Malektos, Ashe Azathoth, Ashe Yogsathos, Ashe Hastar, Ashe. Okay, now let's go back. I done wet it up. Okay, let's deal with this. All right, all right. Okay, Tether, Ashe Shakma, Ashe Bina, Ashe Da, Ashe Chased, Ashe Geberah, Ashe Tipperath, Ashe Naxad, Ashe Had, Ashe Yased, Ashe Malkuth, Ashe Aether, Ashe Celios, Ashe Magnemeta, Ashe Jupiter, Ashe Mars, Ashe Helios, Ashe Venus, Ashe Mercury, Ashe Diana, Ashe Rhea, Ashe Ceres, Ashe Aether, Ashe Urea, Ashe Rhea, Ashe Zeus, Ashe Ares, Ashe Apollo, Ashe Aphrodite, Ashe Hermes, Ashe Demetes, Ashe Artemis, Ashe Osea, Ashe Tahutit, Ashe Mayat, Ashe Min, Ashe Minivis, Ashe Ptah, Ashe Sut, Ashe Ra, Ashe Het Heru, Ashe Anubis, Ashe Anpu, Ashe Aset, Ashe Neabtert, Ashe Yema, Ashe Odin, Ashe Frigda, Ashe Balda, Ashe Lakri, Ashe Thar, Ashe Sif, Ashe Nertris, Ashe Freya, Ashe Raherukahudi, Ashe Harpacross, Ashe Heru, Ashe Brahman, Ashe Vishnu, Ashe Bravini, Ashe Ramachandra, Ashe Shiva, Ashe Inasuda, Ashe Shakti, Ashe Sita, Ashe Hanuman, Ashe Lakshmi, Ashe Jansiya, Ashe Papagede, Ashe Dambawalawedo, Ashe Marasha, Ashe Adam Gwadu, Ashe Bridget, Ashe Maraka, Ashe Ogu Farelli, Ashe Ogu Shango, Ashe Azuli, Ashe Legba, Ashe Edawedo, Ashe Zaka, Ashe Alapi, Ashe Odudawa, Ashe Obatala, Ashe Arunla, Ashe Ogun, Ashe Shango, Ashe Oshun, Ashe Legba, Ashe Iminja, Ashe Orishi Oku, Ashe Oludamare, Ashe Ife, Ashe Oya, Ashe. So I guess that's across the board. We'll to all gods known and unknown, Ashe. To all ancestors known and unknown, Ashe. So I'm going to call out my grandmother, Irene Shaw, my grandfather, Raymond Shaw, Ollie Hemmitt Sr., Ashe grandmother Hemmitt, Ashe Ollie Hemmitt Jr., Ashe great-grandmother Davis, Ashe great-grandfather Davis, Ashe all of my family members, Ashe. Okay, now, when I start calling 1, 2, 3, you start calling out family members. 1, 2, 3. Ashe, 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 Ashe. To all gods known and unknown, Ashe. To all ancestors known and unknown, Ashe. Okay. Yeah, I hate I didn't bring that towel, boy. Woo. All right. Well, let's get down to some business. Anybody want to sit here? Wherever you want to sit, it's cool. I guess you got a good view. We like the Omni now. Ain't no seat bad. So, you know, I like the Georgia Dome. No seat bad. You know, but then again, you got to hear the word. I ain't nothing to look at, so don't make no difference no way. All right, let me get my list out of all the stuff I'm going to hit on today. Okay, and there go my notes. Okay, and I'm going to take these books off. I'm going to put them all on the floor like I usually do because I'm a nigger at heart. And damn all that neat stuff, because that don't work for us because we are chaos people. You know, rigid and order is for the white man, you know, and his cycle is gone. Dang. Tell them to go get me some paper. That's what I need. That's for me? Oh, man, your spirit, you was reading my mind. Because I don't know what I did. I messed up. I didn't bring the towel. See, you know, be like the brothers in the 70s. They used to just, huh? No, it ain't going to do nothing, burn me up more. You know, the brothers in the 70s used to walk around with the towels around there. Y'all don't remember that, do you? Brothers used to walk around with the towels around, you know, during the summer. It's a good concept, too. You see, trying to be cute, burning up. All right. So I put my books down. We'll be naming books like that, you know. So let's go. Okay, I'll move this out of the way. All right. Okay. Put all this. All I need is my notes. R-A-T now. Okay. I'll be talking. These are going to be my notes. Put those out. And got everything stapled together so I don't have to be fiddling. I can go right to the stuff. It's all on there. So I guess the first thing we're going to address is the heat wave. The heat wave. Now, the heat wave is based on a channel that we got. Let me get the channels because we got a big pile of channels here. We got this channel about 2 weeks ago. And this channel we got, anybody know, to tell you what a channel is? A channel is a psychic or a spiritual way of getting things. It's not like, you know, the psychic friends, Dionne Warwick psychic friends. Sister here get them, but she's not the same kind of psychic, so you just can't just go and like ask her things on a psychic prediction. They only come to her based on things, because she get it straight from Newt. And Newt say, well, look, I ain't gonna come not unless we dealing with, give you some serious answers, so they only come based on the serious answers. When we went to the Etowah Mounds, no, that was at the Pinson Mounds in Jackson, Tennessee, they opened it up completely. And at first we was getting channels every day, and I was wearing her ass out too. But they came, you know, because the stuff it got redundant, I asked the same questions over and over again, you know, like that, keep it rolling. But then as times went on and things got more serious, they said, well, we're not only gonna come to give you the actual channels that's very important. So I'll ask, I'll say, well, you wake up and I say, you know, you got anything? And they'll say, well, no, come back tomorrow. So we come back tomorrow and then they will give us some stuff. So this one is based on the channel that came, I think, and we didn't date this. This came about 2 weeks ago. Let's see. It came like the first week we moved into the house, which would be, the second week in July. This came right before the summer solstice. And it says, watch for the silver star. The silver star is Sirius. And it says the silver star is leaving our orbit into yours. So that's Sirius getting closer, but this is different than the heroic horizon of the Nile each year. You have the Sirius rises each year, July 23rd each year. This one is a little bit different. This is the one that comes every 26,000 years, this great year sun. So based on that particular sun, it hadn't been this close to the earth in 26,000 years. So this is the one that happened, and they told us this one day, and 2 days later this heat wave broke out, you see. Now I heard that somebody that said that even though it cooled down here a little, they said that the Midwest is kicking behind right now. They're saying people, you know, they're saying it's breaking all kind of records and it's gotten out of control. And they told us, they said, well, when they came that week, they told us, they said that this thing is going to last the entire summer. So it might get cool or whatever, but basically it's hot like this the entire summer. So I welcome it, you know what I'm saying? Because not so much it just killing people, but I welcome it just to know that, God dog, if there's some signs, then what bigger sign than this doggone heat wave? Last year, what was it? It was rain, big dark cloud. You know what I'm saying? So this heat wave is very spiritual because we are living in the time where we're literally seeing those particular things. Now, what we want to do is write these down, the biblical verses. Like I said, I'm going to recap some things I said on the radio. So this is for, first of all, this is for brothers and sisters that's in prison, but it's not necessarily brothers and sisters in prison. This particular Bible verse, this isn't going to be in Revelations. This is just a regular old preacher book, some cracker from out here, but he put all the stuff of Revelation in his book, you know. And he's thinking when they say the church is in Revelation, he thinks it's talking about the literal church. You know what I'm saying? It's not talking about that church. We're going to decode this thing today, metaphysically. But it's going to be Revelations 2:10. Now this is very key that you get this. Revelations 2:10. Indeed, the devil is about to throw you into prison, that you may be tested, and you will have tribulations for 10 days. Be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. Now that's not talking about for you to get up here and say, I forgive you, white man, and when I die I'm going to go to heaven. Death is a spiritual manifestation of you going to another spiritual level, in the entity coming into you, and you go into your holy guardian angel. We'll deal with that today too, on what that is. But it say, so they're talking about be faithful till the Jews come, and I'm going to give you the crown of life. This is the crown chakra opening up. So they're just literally saying you're going to turn into gods. Now that's the prison that they're telling these brothers and sisters in the prison. But number one, this passage is Revelation 2:10 that says, indeed the devil is about to throw you in prison. So who the hell, they already identified who the devil is. Because we don't own no prisons, and we ain't over no court system. And they ain't talking about no Satan made me do it, because that Satan does not exist. Right. You see what I'm saying? That Satan does not exist. But there's a physical Satan, and you know who the hell that is. Right. So this is one that's telling you straight up in Revelations what it is. Also, it's giving you a symbol of who is God's elect people. If you get out of what is fundamentalism and moralism, you see, you're supposed to be gods. Nobody's supposed to teach you how to behave. You say you the gods. Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? John chapter 10, verse 34, 36. Well, hell, if you gods, don't tell me that you're going to be a god and you need moral behavior when the animals that so-called under you don't need no moral behavior. It just is. The reason is that you've been hit in the head and you just don't know that your nature is that of God. And that's the key. That's the metaphysical key to everything, is becoming God. That's it. The key to all of this is becoming God. Nothing else. Nothing about how you behave. Nothing about what you did. None of that. Of course, they do give you these moralistic things for you to get by inspirationally while you're down here. But the key to everything is becoming God. That's it. Nothing short of that. All the rest of the stuff is garbage. You see, and that's the keys to the Bible that we're going to break into today. So, but if they talk about becoming gods and they're saying who is the elect, we know we're the elect, but he's literally saying, other than what moralism is saying about all the brothers and sisters that's in prison that's sinners, unless they repent, he's saying, hell, them my main people is the ones that's out here doing the crazy stuff. Now, I know that's hard to get into if you're thinking on a third dimensional level. But we're going to explain once and for all why things that are going down that's got black people crazy, that you think that is ungodly, is the most divine, including killing somebody. And I'm not talking, see, first of all, we're not talking to the masses. If I go, and I wouldn't go into prairie homes and tell people a certain thing. So therefore, I wouldn't want you to say, we're talking to the gods. Believe it or not, you are going to be the people that's going to get your people out of this shit. That's bottom line. If you are here now, right now, when you can be someplace else, that's because they have chosen you even though you don't know it yet. And I'll show you in the book of Revelation where you're going to be the light bringer. It's simple. There's going to be an army, an elect army that's going to come to get the rest of them out. And whether you like it or not, all the brothers and sisters is in this Afrocentric thing or whatever. Whether you follow Yahweh ben Yahweh, whether you follow the Nation of Islam, and the Minister Louis Farrakhan, they took an elect few people that's supposed to be the light bringer to get the rest of the 60 million out here, and 80 million in Brazil, and billions across the world. That's the disperse. You understand what I'm saying? So, when you say it's hard for me to believe that God favors those brothers and sisters that's on crack, he favors those brothers and sisters that's killing and all that. First of all, killing is only doing one thing. Killing only registers as something hideous on the third dimension. All you do is you transform the body, and the body goes, and the energy just go back to the spiritual level. Now, I'm not telling you that you're supposed to go out and kill. I'm trying to tell you how you won't get emotional on what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not trying to tell you to go out and kill, but I'm telling the guys that you don't supposed to be getting emotional on what's going on. What's going on is beautiful because that's a transformation. It only looks like it's hideous because you are basing on the third dimension, no physical level. This is death. That's life. So if a brother and sister so happen to die from either ending his life physically or some disease or whatever, he's only transforming, and you got to get that. You understand? Once you conquer death, you got it. Because that's life. This is death. All right? We're going to go through this Bible and all. So he's also saying that my elect is not only the black people, period, but it's those ones that's the ones that's locked down, that's the most dregs of society, is the supreme. He said, I will take the last and make them first. Well, hell, up under you is an element that's even more hideous because of the simple fact that they even more in the mud. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the key. You got to get that. So he said, oh, indeed, the devil may throw you into jail. He says, be faithful unto death. I will give you the crown of life. So that's talking about the ones that's getting ready to be transformed and all. So we need to get that also too. Another part that was given by Awar says, I did not come back to chastise you. He's talking to a people. Now, if you white people, you got it all wrong. He's talking to the ones that's going through the hell. Listen, how in the hell? You done went through 400 years of physical hell, but you've been going through literally about a couple of thousands of years of hell. Let's say give or take 1,000 when this thing got real funky. Now, how in the devil, after all this doggone hell you going through, I'm going to come back to chastise you? That don't make no damn sense. Right. Know what I'm saying? That's like going in a doggone crippled place and shooting up everybody for being crippled. But the moralism is what's killing everybody. You see, somebody pointing the damn finger, that's ego. That's why the churches is the worst place. Not because they don't have the juice, they just don't know what the hell they got, even right there in the Bible, because they was taught by the damn white man. And the mosques ain't no different. Check. All right. So, now, we know about the heat wave. They said that there was a particular heat wave in Texas. They say it was a heat wave about 90 or 80 degrees. And because it's 90 degrees to you, it's 150 degrees to the white people right now, believe it or not. It was about 90 or 80 degrees, and they said then they had a bad thunderstorm and 6 small airplanes went down. And then after that happened, after the thunderstorm left, they said they had it dropped from like 100 degrees to 30 degrees. And this was last week. So I mean, there's things that's dealing with the weather and dealing with everything. You understand what I'm saying? Dealing with the weather and dealing with all kinds of things, you see. So those are things. They said it across the world in March, they had over 200 earthquakes. And now, you know, when you study these biblical prophecies, you're going to see all of that. Over 200 earthquakes, you see. So now, like I said, I'm going to be getting these books now. You need to go over and utilize and get the books right next door. You see what I'm saying? So some of the people got some money, need to go over there after the thing, and you hear these books, you'll see them on the shelf, and get the books. Buy the books. And it's funny, like Sister Africa was saying, some people buy books, it's almost like they're buying a new house or a doggone car. Because you go to the store and you see some clothes you like, you shell out money in a minute. But here come a book. You trying to, like you trying to buy like it's the greatest decision in the world to buy a damn book. Right. You see, so that ought to let you know in the last days that when you will doggone stop and have to doggone go through a critical decision on whether you're going to buy a book, but yet you'll spend money on anything else. You see what I'm saying? Right. Go and stand out in the rain to get in a damn club. You see what I'm saying? To get in the club. Stand out there for hours and stuff in some heels to get in a doggone club. But you can't buy a book. So buy the books. You see what I'm saying? Study to know thyself approved. And there's a part in here. Let me get the Bible verse. There was a Bible verse. I wrote them in this part. They said, blessed are those who read. I can't think of which one that was. It said, blessed are those who read, you know, and all. I'll find it and all. So they're talking about study. And study, we are thinking that study means study the Bible. No, study to know thyself approved. He who knows one book knows none. So now I think it was May, 200 earthquakes going around the world. You see what I'm saying? Some people are asking, are the signs, you can go where you want to go. Some people are asking, where are the signs? Hell. A white boy hit me to this. A white boy work out at Oxford. He's over the religious section. And he was saying, the signs are here. It's just that 2,000 years ago or 1,000 years ago, the technology wasn't like it was today, so if some things that happened major like they do every day here, it was cataclysmic to them. But because the cracker now is not as advanced as far as knowledge, but advanced as far as technology, he's able to smooth things over till you don't even get the doggone stuff. So there's some major things that's happening all over the world that you'll never know if the cracker decides not to tell you on the news. You see what I'm saying? Now, ain't no way in hell you can be understanding world events and world signs when the news is filled up with the same format of who getting killed over here. You understand? And what kind of car wreck on 285 and all this garbage that you really don't have to know. So what? A nigga died. See what I'm saying? Garbage. You see, so therefore the cracker is able to come in and smooth it over, and he's got the technology to the point now until the signs are happening on a cataclysmic event that has never happened in the world before, but you don't know about it because the cracker is technological enough to keep it out of your face. So you just think everything is everything because you numb. You see, 200 earthquakes hit, he's not going to announce that. You see, 6,000 crackers get struck by lightning in the month of May also. In March it was 200 earthquakes, it was March. In the month of May, 6,000 crackers get struck by lightning. How many black people you ever heard get struck by lightning? Not many. We was always scared of it, but I don't know too many black people. But ever since I was a little boy, they had little crackers up in the hospital struck by lightning. You see. That was in Georgia alone, 6,000. They didn't report that. 6,000. But when those numbers start adding up like that, they say, "Ho, we're not going to report that." They didn't report how these black helicopters flew over in the western area where Brother Juju lived, flew over his house. Everybody on the street saw it. Flew over, these brothers was running. They flew over his house and shot down 2 brothers in the park about a month ago. Shot them down, killed them. They said it sounded like atomic bombs going off. The police came and everything. But they said it was real hush-hush. You didn't hear about it on the news or nothing. You see, but you deem that as being news. You see, and the cracker ain't gonna never put it on TV. The revolution will not be televised. You see, and even when he televised things and you thinking that's it, he's always got his hands in on what he wants you to know. Even when he gives you knowledge, it's to you see, to pinpoint it away to point at a certain group. So now he's coming in, he's giving you all this stuff on Waco and certain things. Is America saying that the government is against them? But he's only doing it in reference to trying to point at those so-called militias, you see. Now, Newt Gingrich came on TV one day and said it, and nobody knew about it. When he said, the people asked him, how are you going to get rid of crime? How are you going to get rid of crime? He said, and you got to understand the science, because if you would follow a system of what's going on, you'll understand exactly what he's saying. He gives you 2 choices. He said either make drugs legal or kill the dope dealers. Now, you know damn well he ain't talking about making no dope legal when they got all these drug laws and all these crime bills. How you going to put out a crime bill this thick in September and then going to turn around in June and say, July and say make drugs legal? Right. So you know that the other one is almost, they say, like, you know, you got a multiple choice going on here. He know that the average of people, we know we can't make drugs legal, so what is he saying? Kill the dope dealers. Right. But we know, based on all the Negroes that's gone to prison over the years for doing, what constitutes a drug dealer? Simple as having his hat on backwards. You know what I'm saying? Or wearing a too nice a suit. Check. Came on last, I think the first weekend or the middle weekend in July, and said it on one night, and they reported on the news that night, and they didn't have something, so therefore you don't know what's going on. You see, don't go. And so now we are such an addictive society, so we're into affirmation. So when somebody give you the sign on, man, this is it, you got to have affirmation after affirmation after affirmation. You got to confirm this thing about 1,000 times before you believe it. So now when it go down, the average, first of all, that's why you are the elect right now, of the elect. All black people are the elect, but the ones that's getting into consciousness now, you are the elect. Because see, the underclass, what you call, for just to pinpoint the group, you know the ones, they are totally dead. They have been oppressed so long until they're totally dead. They're just on the survival system. Then you have you, and then you would have the ones which would be the upper lower class, which you call middle class. The intellectual, he's got to have about 4,000 books written. You understand? So the cracker gonna kill you. Oh, he got to have about 4,000 books by PhDs to tell him that the cracker gonna kill him before he believe it. So they ain't gonna never bear witness. You see what I'm saying? It's not in them to bear witness because they have deemed scholarship European, period. Despite all the stuff, all the Afrocentric people, the way they go about scholarship is European. Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you that the black man owned the world. He told you that. He said the black man, and Malcolm even told you based on that the black man is the ruler of the universe. But that wasn't good enough until we got enough scholarship for it. Because that's the European way. Because ultimately we don't think enough about ourselves. Check? Now, to pass out the number, okay, where's my other bag? Oh, right there, good. Damn, I got stuff scattered all over the place. Now, you know about this here. We're going to pass out this number for those people because he's starting to make them, and he got some bad material. He had to get material. Is these wands. Get your crystal wands from Brother Juju that's going to be making them. And this is like one of the rough models. This is the first one. He got them with snakes going all up them because this man is a master artist. And he gets them off the cosmic psychic realm. So you're going to get your wands, so I'll give you the number to get those wands. The number is, Brother Juju, is 752-5122. 752-5122. And he got them big sizes and all, so get your wands. But this is the first one, and it's tarnished now. But he's got them with snakes up them. I mean, it's bad stuff. Now, because they're going to be a part in there, even in the Bible, I got to get it. They say the guns won't shoot in the last days. You see. Those crystal wands there, He has all kind of spiritual jewelry. He did this ring for me last year. You see, did this ring for me last year. So the Brother Juju, I'll give you his number in a few minutes again for those people who need it. So those are some. Now, how many people saw the slavery thing I told them last week? I announced on the radio, and I said it's supposed to be about slavery. Now, what the deal is that they showed you, if you saw the thing, they showed you more of a migrant type worker thing. Right? Now, I remember, which they say they got a few individuals that are oppressing people and got them in slave camps. That's not the case. This is more decoded or more coded than they're trying to, I guess I'm going to have to do the big thing like a tower. This thing is more coded than they're letting on. They're sending a signal because it came on when? July 23rd. You see what I'm saying? Now, they showed you a few little people. They even showed some black people up in there. I remember because I remember back in 1981, I was home for the summer after my freshman year in college, and I was working because where I'm from, the tobacco is down there in South Carolina, and we work for these. And during the summer, everybody go and work for these tobacco companies that's in South Carolina, like R.J. Reynolds. They will have a subsidiary in Mullins. So you go to work for them, you get paid this big time cash. And this stuff starts around July, and you get paid good money. We work there for the summer and go back to college with fat pockets. So now, was down there working, and I mean, we do some hard labor, throwing big bales, 200-pound bales and stuff. And one of the brothers was down there, he said, man, where you been? I ain't seen you in like 5 years, man. I said, I remember we was a freshman in high school together, and you disappeared. He said, man, I've been in a slave camp. He was sitting there laughing. We just figured that he was working for some crackers, out there, and the crackers just kept him, as far as, he working for them and couldn't get off because they owed him or something. But it didn't register. He said, man, I've been in a slave camp. He said, you remember Richard Darby? I said, yeah. I said, he was home last summer. He said, that nigga in a slave camp now. And I swear to God, that's been 91 and 81, and I've never seen Richard again. He said, I escaped. I hauled ass. I got out of there. I escaped. Now, they have these slave camps, and what they're not telling you is it's bigger than that because they are actually abducting black people, and they got black people by the thousand in concentration camps already. You see, in concentration camps already. Tons of them, thousands of them. They get them right off the street. So now what's happening now is the brothers go to jail now. That's why you got to stay out the jail. It ain't about no ego thing, talking shit to no cop. Cop come up to you, buck dance a little bit. See what I'm saying? Stay out the jail, because now they are actually literally getting people off the street, and they say there's thousands of black women and men, and not just no bums or nothing. We talking about black women and men from all walks of life in concentration camps. So they use that little migrant worker story to announce, you see, 130 years after servitude slavery, 1865, you see, 1995, 130 years again, they're announcing that servitude slavery is back. It's not on the full scale yet, but it is back, and they got thousands of people. So this thing is going on right now. And that's why when we was going to Columbia, South Carolina on July 3rd, I went up there to do a lecture. We saw the FEMA trucks with the big FEMA signs on the side of them, big trucks. And the first 5 trucks didn't have no windows or nothing, just these trucks. And she said, the channel said there people on them trucks. And then the next trucks had crackers riding in the trucks and stuff. You can see them, you know, and they had a caravan about 13 strong. But they did it over the holidays. They transport things when people least likely to expect things, because you know, you cooking out. You see, niggas with ribs and stuff at them days. You see, but they have this stuff and it's going on right now. It's just that the cracker, we all thinking of, see, I think we've been trained on this, I think we have been trained on this revelation thing so long, as far as the way the biblical thing gonna say it's gonna happen, until we don't know that this cracker will have you in it 10 years, and before you know it, you say, how the hell I got here? And that's the way he's doing things, because he's that clever. You see, he's that particular clever. So there is the slavery, and I'm going to go into some time dates. Y'all stick around, because we're going to give some. So this is dealing with prophecy. So I know they said, that nigga didn't say a lot of things about prophecy, but look, ultimately, they say this. See, when I give dates, the Spirit, and see, that's just a hard-headed nigga, because the Spirit told me back October 1994, no, and Spirit told me in August of 1994, don't give no dates, man. You can give the season. We are in the season now. It's evident. But they were saying the dates that's registering on this time cycle is different than the dates that's coming down. You say a day, that might mean a week in the cosmos, or it might mean a month. But certainly not years. You understand? So when they say give dates, they're saying that the cracker got this time so messed up. To hell, you see what I'm saying? And the month so messed up, you don't know what time it is. But we do know that this is the year 2000. We do know that this is the 21st century. And I'm going to go into some other dates today, and we're going to deal with this prophecy today. So we're going to center on the season. So, and it's basically telling you the same thing that the preacher been telling you. But he didn't believe it. Well, don't matter what day it comes, you need to be getting down now. And it's much easier once you separate yourself from the world, and you don't have to worry about all the crazy stuff no more. I don't worry about this stuff no more for the simple doggone fact. I'm free now. You see what I'm saying? I live like every one day at a time, you know, on the hell with it, you see. I ain't looking for no 20 years down the road, so therefore I don't have to build no future where I got to sit around and say, where's my life going? My life is in the here and the now, right now. Check? All right, because if you think you got a future with this cracker, when Newt come on TV 2 weeks ago and say, what? Kill the dope dealers, which means killing black people, then you crazy. You better be getting something. All right, so let's go into some things. What's your man that's supposed to be executed soon? Yeah, Mumia. Yeah. Now check this out. We know something spiritual going down, because didn't they move the date back? Yeah. What was the first date? When was that? The 17th. They moved it back to what?
August 24th.
August 24th. It's funny because they know the dog day cycle, the Sirius rising dog day in Leo lasts from what? July 23rd to July 23rd to like August the 21st or 2nd. And see, these crackers are crafty because they moved it all the way back, even though that's the dog day thing, and they can't get out from this, but they moved it back from those designated points of Leo in this dog day cycle. They moved things back, you see. So now, very key things to look at. And ultimately, it ain't even about him, Because they've been executing niggas wholesale for years. But it's the spiritual things, and there are people that's rising up among your midst because you're looking for all these messiahs. So they're going to be people that they're going to pinpoint that you're supposed to focus on as an icon or a stepping stone of what time it is in certain doorways, dimensions, and certain signs on when things is over. You see, OJ is right at the head of this. But OJ, the physical man, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He ain't been black since he was 15. That's why he in this trouble for messing around with them crackers. You know what I'm saying? Like Richard Pryor said, boy, don't you go around there fucking around with them Jews and ain't got no money. You see what I'm saying? So, but I'm saying, but we know that the thing is bigger than OJ. We're going to get deeper into that, you see. But they moved this thing back because they know some things are going on, so that's one of the keys. You see, so you need to notice certain things. They say everything is everything. You need to notice everything right now. Everything is everything. You see what I'm saying? Only the dead man walk around and say, oh, man, that ain't you. What you drink? Oh, man, no. You supposed to be conscious. Everything is everything. Right? Right. Signs of the times. Check. All right. Let's deal with some things. First of all, even though we know that 1994 came in and America's tradition ended, the baseball strap, right? And it lasted up until the next season. But it's funny now because they came back on TV a month ago and the guy, Bob Costas, they had a thing on Nightline and they were saying that baseball is dead, where they can't even pack their houses as far as where it went down to like 4 million strong going to like 15 million. And they say baseball is dead. And Bob Costa said, no, you don't understand. He said baseball is more than just a game. He said baseball is America itself. He said, so by the baseball being dead, he's saying it's letting you know that America itself, literally he was saying, is dead. Because that's the way things going to come. They're going to come in the things that's around you. I mean, hell, you get tidal waves and all that type stuff. You know what I'm saying? But they're going to come in subtle things. Now, in AWAS, in the Book of Law, in this version of the Book of Law, the hardback version, he told the guy, this is the Book of Law, which is the second part to the Book of Coming Forth by Day. He said, I'm going to give you a prophecy. This is in 1904. He said that in this century, the 20th century, man is like a child, and he's going to pack arenas to go to see sporting events and entertainment. That's why a teacher can make the less money, but an entertainer can make more money. That's why most important things that you can't live with, you get nothing from. If the damn garbage man went on strike, you'd be crazy around here. But the man that you can do without, like entertainment, get paid the most money because the white man is a child. And because he made you children in slavery, that's what you tend to look for because that's your God. You see, so he said that's the thing. So now when these things like baseball start breaking down, you understand what I'm saying? That lets you know on how things are going. You see, Michael Jackson can't sell the millions like he was before. You see what I'm saying? They don't have concerts like they used to. I mean, and I remember in the 80s, they used to have concerts every 2 weeks, big concerts. Now, Cameo said they can't even fill big venues like they used to. They can't book, so they own smaller things. That's because entertainment is failing around the clock. You see, everything has been done. You see, everything has been done. Now, they got a new good movie coming out called Prophecy with Christopher Walken. Don't miss that particular movie. Outbreak is still out. Now, I'm going to give you some stuff. I'm going to give you a code to Outbreak today. Let you know a code to Outbreak. Outbreak is still out, so the people who haven't seen Outbreak still go see Outbreak. Because Outbreak is not only going to be talking about Ebola, there's going to be some things in Outbreak is actually announcing the King Alpha plan. So we're going to get into that in a few minutes. So go see that particular movie. Outbreak. Another movie talking about the Necronomicon on how you're going to retake the earth is more than you think. See, the Bible and the Quran gives you symbols that you can understand on the physical. But there's the movie At the Mouth of Madness, John Carpenter's movie. It's going to show you how the Necronomicon, which is you, your higher self, going to retake the earth. Now the movie is out on video, so go see the movie. The movie Bad Company with Ellen Barkin and, what's my man's name? Lawrence Fishburne, Larry Fishburne. That's a movie that was made for the OJ thing also. Because he later on becomes obsessed with her and said, it ain't over till I say it's over. That's all on video now. You see, go see the movie. They got a sex scene up and I had to close my eyes. You see what I'm saying? You know him. I was embarrassed, you know, the way he was going at that white woman. I was like, dang, and they didn't even take off the clothes. And the white people was in the movie saying, damn. You see, so it's out on video. Go check it out. They put it out around the trial time, you know, around, you know, same time. They put out that, they put out Just Cause, and they put out the Candyman again. All at it in the same time. But the movie At the Mouth of Madness, John Carpenter, that's one of the key movies you need to go see. That's one of the movies that's talking about the great old ones retaking the earth. And he tell him, he say, man, Genesis and Revelation is far, they say this thing is far greater than what the Bible hints on. You can't even imagine it. Y'all all right? All right. To let you know that things are going crazy, why are you in religion at this particular time when all you need, if you got the Quran, if you got the Bible, why don't you stay home and study it and stop having some asshole, excuse the expression, teach you something? You see what I'm saying? Teach you something. You say you the gods of the earth and you got a mind, then decode the stuff yourself. You will get further than somebody hollering at you based on a tradition he learned from the white man. That's why there's over 20, look at this. They announced last week, the guy, last week he got a little sentimental and talk about the Pope and all that bullshit. What's his name? Jack Van Imp. See, check the cracker out every Sunday night at 11:30 and Monday night at 11:30. And I think it come on Sunday mornings.
Yeah. It comes on
it's channel 69. Check him out. Because there's things that he's saying that he's not aware of. But he's giving you the stuff. He's telling you it's over. They just think that they going into the hereafter. But that cracker be dropping. I got to give it to him. Now, I ought to know when somebody bull jiving. I'm telling you, I watched that cracker because he kicked down the scriptures, and I can decode. I said, oh, well, it ain't talking about that, but you just gave me the scripture, though. So Jack Van Imp, in here he announced that there was 20,728 denominations in Christianity alone.
Yes,
20,728 denominations in Christianity alone. That's a lot of doggone religion. You can understand that that is all set up to keep you down. You see what I'm saying? That's all set out to keep you down. Now, another indictment on America, on black people, is they could have gotten you. You saying, no, let's just talk about hypothetically, even if we, because I know everybody want money. That's our thing. But even if we just talked about money, the white man let you know this week that he had enough money to outfit you 10 times over. He could have gave 60 million black people $1 million easy. When you got certain people in the Illuminati, a family member might own 6 trillion alone. Where this weekend they showed you that they can outfit you when the cracker can shell out $200 million for a movie, Waterworld. I saw the movie, and I mean, it was great. The movie had some good action in it, and I could see how they had to pay all them people, but I'm trying to say it wasn't that great to make a movie, $200 million. But yet they telling you understand? But yet they go, see, it's an indictment. That ought to let you know it's the last days. You got to know, anytime the cracker tell you he cutting out welfare and affirmative action, tell you we don't have no money for that, but he got money to put $200 million in a movie? Fiction? That ought to let you know it's all coming down. It's all coming down. And boy, dang, boy, I see why they gave me the fan. It's all coming down, but you know what? I'm glad, because like I say, we are lucky to be living in these days. But then again, if you know anything about metaphysics, the people that was living back then, they living now too, if you know something about reincarnation. So everybody get in on this. It's just that I'm glad it's over now. And believe me, hey, let's deal with this thing. Now, I'm just going through my little hard copy, you know, before we go into some good stuff. They had this this black man. He is the main man that is fighting for this whole affirmative action thing. This cracker, they had him on Nightline. No, they had him on this guy's show last week. The guy that come on after Tom Snyder. They come on after David Letterman. So he's on there, and he was talking about how they defeated and how they passed this thing. Now this is a Negro now. He was saying how they passed this thing, and now you can't get into the college, you know, with affirmative action. He was so proud of that. So some cracker called in and said, well, what are you going to pick things on? He said, well, we're going to pick things on whether in high school you had a job, or, you know, or we're going to pick and see if you had basically saying if you was one of them good behaving Negroes, is the merit on whether you go to college. But then a brother from Compton ain't got a chance. You see what I'm saying? So then Tom Snyder said, well, what do you think about Jesse Jackson? You know, that the masked up rhetoric and all. He said, I've been knowing that guy for years, and his glass is never full. Like saying, you know, it's always half empty, like you ain't satisfied, you know. He said, what do you think? And the black guy said, well, you know, our black leaders, they have made this particular, they have made their career off of saying that, calling people the oppressor and saying that black people are oppressed. But we happen to know that black people have made great strides. You know what I'm saying? Now, in the midst of this madness, you see what I'm saying? This cracker, black people have made, you know, great strides. You see what I'm saying? So now they got this black man. Now, the key to that is this. I look up in here and I say, now, wait a minute. Is this man that much a race hater that he would sell out his race like that? And I say, no. Because but the black guy mentioned something. He said, I was one of the first people to go to the University Systems of California, and he said it was hella racist. And then I said, oh, I see. You like Frank Snowden and all them boys that they always pick a brother to go after, like if you in the Afrocentric community. You see, it's not enough to get a white man talking junk, because we say, oh, you the devil. We don't care. So they'll go and get a black man to come against you, like me. They'll come against me. And I say, oh, I see what they do. They pay these people. Some people say, no, man, ain't that much money. No, but see, you don't understand about the cracker. The cracker say, look, we need one black man to shoot down affirmative action. We'll pay you $5 million to do it. See, it's the amount of money they pay, because $5 million is only like $5. It's a lot to you. You say, I won't pay nobody that much money. But the cracker know that he got a machine to print money. Right. It's only valuable to us. So what happens is he'll pay him $5 or $10 million just to stand up for 1 minute and go against a nigger, because money is no object to him. So that's how they get these black people to go against you, and you be like, damn, look at this Uncle Tom. You don't even understand the money that they give these people. You see what I'm saying? Half the conscious people, somebody stepped to them and said, I give you $10 million to talk junk about John Henry Clark and say that he was a faggot. Half them niggas in the Afrocentric community will take that $10 million and do that. Because that's where you are. That's your God. You see? And he don't even know. The cracker saying, oh, that's like $5 to me. I got a machine that print money. And that's when you got to realize, that's how you got to really tap into this money thing. That's the anesthesia. When you know all this stuff about working hard, and you don't know the cracker got a machine that print money. It ain't worth nothing no way, because it ain't worth the paper it's printed on. You see what I'm saying? He can't buy nothing in no other countries with that bull jive. Check. Y'all all right? Then, hard copy, they showing you, they putting you on the world stage to say you a fool. How does he do this? He know that the average black child in the ghetto, he don't deal with no baseball. He likes football, but you know, he's the basketball people. Because that's where you can go out and shoot them hoops. You know, some of the ghetto ain't got no grass or nothing. It's straight pavement, so you ain't gonna be playing too much football, and that touch thing don't get it. But you can go and hoop. So they know that based on the NBA, the two stars of the NBA championship is who? Shaquille O'Neal and Akeem Olajuwon. And what the hell they do? Put the two damn niggas in a commercial with some damn Yankee Doodle Dandy hats on, and then they show these two assholes on two bicycles with some dealy boppers, that thing, and they savage the people right before your eyes, and people say, oh, that's cute, that's Shaq in them. Tweedledum in some damn short pants, like Humpty Dumpty, riding a bicycle. And that's how they dehumanize them. That's what they do. You see what I'm saying? Oh, anything other would not be civilized. You see? They make monkeys out to right on the TV set, and people don't even know. Check. You got to know what time it is, because this cracker. Another thing, too, now, if you didn't get off them chickens and that meat before, because, you know, everybody saying, I'll cut out the beef. I ain't getting up off no chicken. Chicken ain't bad. Look. Man, they showing people crackers getting messed up with this chicken, and black people. One guy got messed up with this chicken with that salmonella. It ain't no, that ain't nothing. You just leave something out on the counter. No, hell, that shit be salmonella when it come from the factory. They had to cut out half a cracker intestines because of this salmonella poisoning. See what I'm saying? How do they do it? They say that they kill 90,000 chickens a minute in these plants. 90,000. They saying, and there's so much disease up in there until all that stuff is just filthy. Just humanity alone. What do you think about a cracker that killed 90,000 chickens a minute? All because you love to eat chicken. See what I'm saying? So you need, that's one more thing is also, and just like Sister Camille was saying, also you need to become vegetarian because, if, like I said, if these crackers close down these supermarkets, if you've been used to eating meat, you're going to catch hell. You know what I'm saying? A vegetarian, he can go a day or two without food because that's all he eating is what you call rabbit food in the first place. You see what I'm saying? And it takes you about a year to adjust from all that meat anyway. You see what I'm saying? So, therefore, you need to cut down on that stuff because stuff ain't going to be plentiful. And also, too, stuff is not going to be safe when it comes to that meat. Real key is you get off that doggone stuff. You see what I'm saying? Real key. They even was talking about like male pattern baldness. Even though the male has a gene that makes him go bald first, but it usually comes from the mucus that settles in the doggone hair follicles based on meat and the starches and all that stuff based on mucus. You ever seen a bald-head Indian? Not many. You ain't seen that many bald-head Egyptians. It's based on diet. Even though there's such thing as male pattern baldness, you didn't have it in certain cultures for the simple fact that all you got to do is get off the meat. Plus, there's one like Johnny Moore said, but no nigga don't want to do this shit. He didn't know how the Indians used to do it. It just so happened one of them go bald-headed because they became carnivorous people at the end, the Africans. They used to do something. And that's to put cow manure on your head. That's what Johnny Moore said. You put the cow manure on your head and your shit will start growing again. It's just like fertilizer. Niggas go, I don't know about no stuff like that. Well, hell, you know, I'd rather do that than go get some hair replacement system and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Nigga gotta, you know, and that shit don't work for black people. Yeah, that rug ain't gonna happen with this wool here. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? That can do it to white boy, you know? So put the cow manure on there. Johnny Morris, you know, that's some deals just dealing with that stuff. Now, like I said before, Jean Dixon, who predicted all this stuff at the end of the world, now her prophecies were some of the best. And the reason why her prophecies were some of the best is because, like I said on the radio, Jean Dixon got busted recently. Jean Dixon was getting all her doggone prophecies from her black maid. Her black maid was giving her all the stuff, and they was paying off the family. And I think the sister died, and the family was like, you busted. We gonna damn you. We want more money, or whatever. And they busted her. So all her prophecies was based on that. And she got a real key prophecy that I'm gonna get into when we go deeper into the prophecies. Now, also, to let you, I know some time is going, I know things is getting up, and I know things are getting near, because see, the witches and all that, they deal in the metaphysical realm and all of this. Now, they got some witches, they can't get to us. They be trying to put the mojo on me and the sister. They can't get to us because we not even in this dimension. Like one of the sisters from Charlotte, she got this brother, he's a Christian, but he's a Christian, but he's a real master psychic. So she tell him, what about this brother? What about this brother? He was telling them all about these people. When they got to me and the sister, they was like, I don't even see them. They're not even here. Even though I'm here physically, the psychic is dealing with stuff in a spiritual realm. And what happened is my mind is so far away from this earth plane. As a man and woman thinketh, so is he or she. So I'm like, I don't even think I'm here, so therefore I'm not here. You see what I'm saying? So now these witches try to put this voodoo on or whatever. They using our stuff, so they be giving me juice. I be like, hey, shit. You using my gods and shit, they gonna come and give me juice. So they put this thing, they couldn't get to us, but she had some dreams about, and the only reason why she remembered it because I woke her up that night. But she had these dreams of, she said, we driving in our little black car, and these witches are throwing these bombs at us or trying to shoot at us, but they can't hit us, but they hitting the car. So last Friday, we in the car now. We done had a clutch put in the car twice in 6 months. A clutch. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you replace the clutch, but that's something that's supposed to be you drive. How's the clutch going to break up? So we driving the other week, and the clutch break down again. We just had it 2 months ago. They put another clutch in. So we pull up the Juju house, the brother house, and we leave the car there. Then Wednesday, out of nowhere, a parked car parked almost on the damn sidewalk. This other car comes and hits it and totals our car. And the brother hauled ass. And we understood what happened. They put the juice on the car so they can take us out while we on the highway. But it ain't going down like that because, like I say, my shit is powerful than that. You see what I'm saying? So the spirit said, okay, then boom, we're going to break down the car and park it there so then the next week so the witches won't have a chance. Now, we had a lecture, another one in South Carolina in January. And the clutch broke down and went out in the car outside of Columbia, and we drove 3 hours here without a clutch. We heard it go ding-a-ling right outside of the interstate of Columbia, and we drove 3 hours, and it broke down right outside of Atlanta. So I'm saying the spirit worked like that, you see. So let you know also too, with psychic warfare, is based on how you think. Basically, now this is how they wiped off half the conscious community. But we took about 20 or 30. We took about there was about 100 people went on the June 19th went to what's the name of the place? Monroe, Louisiana. Half them people done fell off the path. All kind of things messed up with them. All these conscious people. But see, the witches was working because they told us in February, they say the witches, they got a group of witches over at Emory. And they work on black people in the consciousness. But what happens is the energy that they put on you, it preys on your weakness. Since most of the people so-called conscious is into that money, they put the money thing out and a lot of niggas got messed up based on the money thing. And they got a lot of people off the path based on the money. So the more greedy you are, the more they're going to put some things on you, and financially you're going to get all messed up. But then again, if you don't live on finances, basically it's a utility. I get some money, you know, like that, but I'm saying based on, everything is based on this, then you won't have to worry about those things. So you got to watch out. It's how you think. You see, we can front to the people all we want about, you know, Afrocentric and all that, but it's your passions and all this is. So you got to start thinking another way. You see what I'm saying? We can do that all day, just like we got plenty of people like your boy Jim Jones. And Jim Jones was supposed to be sincere, but all he was a CIA person working for the CIA. That it was a CIA project to say, what? We're trying to see can a white man have the same effect on black people as, you know, the black preacher does. So that's all that was a CIA thing. And the key was whether to pass the test is whether you can kill them or not. And he did just that. Drink the Kool-Aid, drink the Kool-Aid. You see on the microphone, drink the Kool-Aid, drink the Kool-Aid. Niggas was drinking that damn Kool-Aid and stuff. Telling you. Now, that's why you got to get into another realm of thinking. First of all, death is the ultimate dimension. Now, I'm not telling you to go put no 357 to your head. But what I'm trying to tell you is when you see your people pass on, they are in the weight realm and you are in the death realm. So the more and more that you dwell on this realm as far as the physical structure that you got to have, the materialism, the more dead you are. Materialism is a supreme vexation to the spirit. Some people say, oh, you can't have the spirit without the physical. No, they're talking about on the third dimension. The other realm don't think about that. That's you talking. Good and evil. You see what I'm saying? Physical and spiritual are what you would call the duality. Only exists on the third dimension. Up there, it just is. It's all one. In my Father's house, we are one. Life is the worst dimension. You look at a baby, and everybody loves the babies. You know the worst state you can be in on this planet is a damn baby. See, I'm trying to see the whole thing, what we're trying to do here, and I'll go somewhere with this later on. I see this nigga here done gone crazy. I'm going to take this somewhere in a few minutes. But what I'm saying is this. Okay, they look good and you look at them, but when you look at a baby, I'm not talking about a baby about her age, because she's capable of doing things, and I know the queen right here. But I'm talking about an infant. It's literally a dead person. You see what I'm saying? And then this life wave that it's got to go through is one of the lowest levels. That's why they say in the last days, they say it's going to be hard for a certain person carrying an infant. You see what I'm saying? One reason is because it's going to slow you down, but on another reason is because when a sister has that infant and is so helpless, she will be conservative about doing things on a liberation, spiritual liberation or physical liberation thing, because she got that infant. You see, so those are the reasons why they say that in the Bible. It's going to be hard for a sister or whatever type thing like that. But life that you know of is the worst. So anybody trying to prolong this is trying to doggone build a new wing on the jailhouse. When I go into the Bible scriptures, we're going to go somewhere with these things. We're going to go some way with these particular things. Now look at this. Let me get the notes out here. And I said, something told me I was up to see what it is. See, one reason how I'm able to get a lot of things is, if there's some books out there, I don't do it now because it might not be but 1 or 2 books that I might need to get. But when I was in the formative years, I didn't go to the bookstore every now and then. I go every day, 7 days a week, 365 days. And if I was lecturing, I was going up and down the East Coast. So therefore, if there's anything coming out here in America, I'm getting hold to the stuff. So now, I was up in the bookstore and something said, wait a minute, go back and get, because I told you about the Outbreak book. I said, in the movie, The Outbreak, they just tell you 1967, which was actually 1976 with the old Ebola thing, and then they say present day. So something say, go back and get the dates from the book. Because the book, and then I looked in the book and I said, present day, and it said, March 19th, 1995. But then all of a sudden, I started looking in the book, in the doggone book. Every chapter, now let me show you how many chapters they had. First of all, they had about 19 chapters. Let me get it first. They had about 19 chapters in the book. A little paperback book for like $4 or $5.99. And each chapter happened to have a date. And I said, well, hell, that's pretty interesting here. Here it is. And so I said, well, I'm sitting here. I don't want to buy the book. I saw the movie. I don't want to read the book. I said, all I need is a date. So I sat there in the store and I copied down all the dates. And it said, first of all, Congo, 1967, which was actually 1976, which is also a code thing also, too. But when we get into the dates, we're going to line up these dates. So y'all stick with me. But present day, now, when you go see the movie, you'll see 1967, then you'll see present day. Present day, it has August the 19th, 1995. Kendricks, Maryland. I think that's where Fort Detrick is. These are the dates. August 19th, Kendricks, Maryland. August the 20th, Dover Air Force Base. August the 21st, all these are 1995. Malibu River Valley. August the 29th, T. Cook, Seattle. August the 29th, also Fort Detrick, Maryland. They're back in Maryland. August the 29th, Center of Disease Control, Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, August the 30th, CDC, Atlanta. Then they start dealing with this September the 1st, Cedar Creek, California. September the 2nd, Cedar Creek, California. And I said, wait, this Cedar Creek bull jive. I say, wait, more like Compton or Los Angeles, because Cedar Creek is the most. August the 2nd, Boston Memorial Hospital. And I'm just going to give you this thing. So let's go back. I don't want to call them all out. August 19th, August 20th, August 21st, August 29th. So something is going on from the 21st to the 29th, something going on. August 29th, 29th, August the 30th, August the 2nd, August the 3rd, August the 5th, August the 6th. No, excuse me, I got that wrong, wait a minute. August the 30th, then September 1st through the 6th. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm writing down each date that they had, and I say, wait a minute. First of all, the places that they got, each place they got a place. I said, oh, I see what it is. This ain't no places that they got in the book. I said, each one of these places that they talking about in the book is literal concentration camps. That they're given, on each chapter, they're given concentration camps. Now, I don't know if those are the literal places that the concentration camps in, but the Spirit told us that it was a CIA format, and it was given concentration camps also. So not only do you have the Ebola thing going on that could be dropped, but also the book was a guide for concentration camps starting on August the 19th. They've already started as far as, you know, getting some people, not the masses, but then again, could August 19th may very well be a date? So you say, oh, now what happened? Oh, it don't go down on August the 19th. So you don't understand. The cracker system is not foolproof either. So what happens with him is he gets to August 19th and he sees things are not situating his way, he might push it back. But still yet he has designated dates. You just so hope that them damn dates don't go on schedule like he would want to. And maybe the Spirit is giving you a little more time. You understand what I'm saying? But it's interesting about the book, more than just the movie, because you can go see the movie, but more of the dates in the book. August the 19th through September the 6th. Now stick with me, because I'm going to give you some stuff on what's happening on those particular days, on the reason why he would do this. First of all, August the 19th is well in still the realm of Leo and the Sirius, Siggy, or what you would call still in the realm of what you would call the summer solstice or the dog days. You understand what I'm saying? It's still in that realm, and that's why it would also start on the 19th. And then that number 19 pop up again. Number 19 pop up again. And I'm going to give you something on the number 27. The number 27 is a very spiritual number also. And I'm going to give you the readout on the 27. But August 19th, 1995, if you just go August 19th, which is 8/19 is what? 27. I'll give you some stuff on that in a few minutes after we deal with certain things that's going down. Now, now, look at this. Look at these dates. The reason why I say this, because you might have differences. Some of you follow this group, some of you follow that group, some of you follow that group. Despite what you follow, you must understand that on the physical, social level to the spiritual world, they say that don't exist. So when they pick a particular person, whether you might agree socially, based on a linear time on the third dimension, whether that pans out, that's not necessarily so in the spiritual realm. And one of those people is the Elijah. The Elijah. In Egypt, he would be Tahuti. Another one for Elijah in Hebrew would be Enoch. You see, Anubis is a form of Elijah, the gatekeeper. Now, in this book, The Gods of Eden, the cracker is being a little facetious. He's laughing. There's a chapter in here on Elijah. He's laughing. He's literally making a joke to the white Jew. Because this cracker has done enough studying to know that the white Jew, if you converted into something, you can't be the authentic of that what you was converted into. You understand what I'm saying? Why? Because that means that it just used to be a race and it used to be a certain one. But we want to go back to the authentic people. So he is studied enough to know that the cracker that's over in Israel is not the original Jew. You understand? Even that cracker know he ain't the original Jew. That's why he gets offended every time you say that he ain't the real Jew. You understand what I'm saying? Because he know he's not. Now, in here he says that the Jews over in Israel have been looking for the Elijah since they have become a nation. They have been looking for Elijah, but up to this point, when he printed the book in 1991 or 1992, he's laughing. He's saying, well, hell, we're going into the new millennium. And based on 1989, 1990. So he's saying, hell, if somebody's supposed to come that's supposed to fulfill Elijah's prophecy to purify the nation, it damn sure he ain't going to come, you understand what I'm saying, in no 10-year period. Not based on what the scriptures say you got to fulfill. So he knows at this particular time, based on the time cycle, that this Jew, he's laughing and saying this Jew here is not going to receive no Elijah. You understand? So that only makes it one other people to receive Elijah. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why in the Judas factor, the guy said, based on whether you like it or not, now whether you like it or not, I don't give a damn what organization you belong to. I don't belong to the Nation of Islam, but like I can tell you, there's never been a society bigger than the Nation of Islam that was outside of the white man's realm. You got one that's the AME Church. You understand what I'm saying? But we know, hell, do I need to go any further on the AME Church? You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, we know that the ones that they're talking about is that Elijah as a figure. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this is the key. Let's look at the dates, and we can understand some things. First of all, he said that Master Farad Muhammad came to teach him in 1931. Now, it's funny because this book, the Book of Law, has a key to it. And in 1935, the guy named Frater Atchett, who was one of the neophytes of Aleister Crowley, broke the key to it, and the key was 31, which Kabbalistically spells Al and La. Al, which means God, and La, which means not, or nothing. That's the short word for nothing. Which you're talking about Al, which would be God or Son, you're talking about the Yin and the Yang, the Alpha and the Omega, which is the key to the Book of Law, is 31. 3 times 31 is 93, and 93 is the number of the angel that came down, or the god Awas, who gave this book to him. But then in 1931, he says this man comes to teach, and taught him for 3 years. You see what I'm saying? Now, it's key because after he says, after the Elijah says, now, it's interesting because you're going to get this book. I know it's hot, but hell, look at me. You know, hell, I need to lose weight anyway, so what the heck? This is the sweat house. You know, this is that Indian sweat. You see, so we think we can bear it. In this book, the Armageddon script, I think she got 4 copies. Get the book. Real key book to get. This is it's based on the Dead Sea Scrolls, but it's one of the best books to get. Having for many years researched both the Hebrew Scriptures and the Dead Sea Scrolls, Peter Lemesher, which is the same guy who did the Great Pyramid Dedicated, has developed a theory of the Essene set who lived in the area around the quarrying on the Dead Sea Scroll, on the Dead Sea, for many years before the birth of Jesus Christ, who attempted to fulfill the Messiah story, to make true the prophecies, but somewhat in a way they say he failed to fulfill them in another book I'm going to give you in a few minutes. Now, in this book, he's dealing with it on page 181. They're giving this thing, well, based on the Dead Sea Scrolls, or if you're in any other tradition, be Islam, ancient Egyptian, whatever your deities would be the same thing. Based on that, the forerunner be Tahuti, that would come before Osat, would come before Heru, or Anubis would come before Heru, or in Christianity it would be Elijah that would become before Heru, become before the Christ. In here it says, oh yeah, you get me a little basket there. Y'all all right? Yeah. Okay now. Hell, it'd be harder than this in some of them Baptist churches and shit. And we be jumping all up and down about to have a heart attack up in there. Now, but I know, like I say, we can't go down as a bunch of Africans who scared of heat. You understand what I'm saying? When we the sun people, and that's a part of the divine revelation. Now, it says, we must understand a teacher's own community, a member of the teacher's own community. He must be born a member of the teacher's own community. Now, who is the community of God? First of all, let's talk about you now. It's important that you stick around today because I'm going to give you some dates that's unbelievable and you can line them up. See, the whole thing is not for me, some nigga, to come up and tell you nothing. See, how we get caught up in something is this. Some nigga come and tell you something, right? He don't tell you that y'all need to be going out and researching this shit too. And throwing back stuff at him and throwing stuff amongst yourself. Hell, you the researcher. So he give you some stuff and you don't research it, that's your damn fault. And so if a nigga steer you wrong and stuff, you understand, that's your fault. So you need to be researching, so you need to add up these dates because Negroes is good with numbers. Okay? Now, he says, the teacher of the community, but the prophecies is also demand that a Messiah, whether single or multiple, should be preceded by a forerunner. Now, remember the words now. I'm going to give you a key right now to your own salvation. He said the Messiah in this book, whether single or multiple. Y'all put that down in the memory bank because I'm going to come back to it in a few. Whether single or multiple. You let me know when you want to break and get the people cool off. But y'all got to come back for these prophecies. These prophecies are not dates. These prophecies are stuff that you got to use, man. Because I'm telling you, where we going, shit, if you look at the earth in this dimension, because there's no such thing as up or down, it's dimension. Go see, you see the movie, you everybody see the show Sliders? Anybody saw the show Sliders? It come on Sunday nights. Yeah. See what I'm saying? What it say? Not out there in space. That's the petty universe. That don't exist. That's a hologram, but different dimensions. Your reality based on Mars, Jupiter, Saturn is whether you go through another dimension, the twilight zone. You understand what I'm saying? So, he says whether single or multiple. You all got to get this in your head when you go and decode those scriptures. All right? Now, he said whether single or multiple should be preceded by the forerunner, a reincarnation of the prophet Elijah. For the prophecies would be held to have been a priest. It was the same figure who would fulfill the role of the priest Messiah to prepare the way and to show a much greater divinic Messiah to come, which meaning you, just as I have done great works you shall do. But it's got to be a forerunner, which is Elijah. Now, they say, well, what are the duties of this forerunner? The duties is he's supposed to come in and announce the coming of the Messiah. Now I'm going to show you something metaphysical. Because did he announce the coming of Jesus? Or did he announce to say the black man going to retake the earth? It's different. And he's supposed to purify the nation. One is to purify you. He gave you eat to live and told you to get off the pork and all of that. I also told you to go vegetarian. But he knew that he said, I would rather for you to go vegetarian. But he knew in the 1960s and 50s that was unbelievable. You see what I'm saying? He'd kill him first and tell him to get off the meat. Hell, you don't get off it now. Now, but the purification he talked about was a separation. You got a barrel full of rotten apples. And up until this time, everybody was living on earth. They didn't know that the white man was a mutant and not a human. So you dealing with him and he driving you crazy, and you didn't realize that the man is not human. So he purified it by separating the rotten apples. You understand what I'm saying? By separating the rotten apples, which was the white man. Now, this is the key. Let's look at these time dates. He says, after me come the Christ. Now, in the Judas factor, they say they worked around the clock, night and day, to try to destroy the Nation of Islam. Also, we know that he had a motorcade in the 1950s now. This is before the Civil Rights Movement, and I think that they invented the Martin Luther King thing to counter this. You understand what I'm saying? Because we know the NAACP was started by the Jews, and we even know now that the crackers was writing Martin Luther King's speech on that nonviolent bullshit. Do you know, we got 5 minutes, and then we're gonna do a break, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna smoke. Do you know, in the theology of time, everybody need to get a copy of that. They say right in there that in the 1950, I don't know what year was that, they had a motorcade. The government sent him a motorcade. Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Do you know that the government of the United States in the mid-50s sent Honorable Elijah Muhammad was coming to speak. He was coming to speak to these congressional crackers. They sent him a motorcade and damn near a parade down Pennsylvania Avenue, I believe, for the Nation of Islam. Yet you hear this bullshit about Malcolm talking about the Mecca thing. You didn't know that. He goes and speaks to these congressional crackers who knew who he was. They say the crackers used to step up to him and say, we know who you are. Right? And he dooms them all to hell. And right after that, they invent this damn civil rights movement to counter that shit. Check. And write Martin Luther King speeches. when you know something ain't right, somebody is a fool to get up in the church after they done bomb some black children and say, if there's any blood be shed, let it be ours. And they done killed three little black girls? Are you out of your mind? All set up to counter the Nation of Islam. Now he says, after me comes the Christ. So they know the stats. They know that 20 years later, 1951, Malcolm X gets released from jail. They know that he is the Elijah, because they say the crackers used to sneak in the back door to get knowledge from him and have a pencil and a piece of paper. Who the hell, you know when they say they sent Neil Armstrong to the moon? That they went and checked with the damn Honorable Elijah Muhammad to get knowledge on the fucking moon? And he told them, you ain't gonna find nothing up there but a bunch of dust and rocks. Gunpowder. And gunpowder. That's right. He told them that. So they knew who he was. So they knew based on this, after him comes the Christ. Right? Now, 1951, Malcolm gets out of jail. Malcolm is the one that's the mouthpiece for the nation. He's the one that put the nation literally on the map. He was supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? He was supposed to do that. He was supposed to put the Nation of Islam on the map. Because, you know, Honorable Elijah Muhammad was not a public speaker. But that wasn't his thing. He was like the mother. You always, in any type of religion or any type of spiritual manifestation, you have the AC and the DC. The positive and the negative. Not as evil, but positive and negative means you would have the silence, and then you would have a mouthpiece. In Egypt, you would have Harpocras, the baby of the egg. That's the power. That's the energy. And then you would have Ra-Heru-Heru-Kahudi, which is the manifestation of that. Nut, which is the triple blackness of space, and Hadit, which is the manifestation. So now, based on spiritual thing, Malcolm was the manifestation of something that was more potent. He was like the perfume to the potent oil. So he was the mouthpiece that people started dealing with the Nation of Islam, based on Malcolm's announcing the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So they knew after him, based on the numbers, that 20 years later, from 1931 to 1951, they thought Malcolm was the Messiah in the 60s. You see what I'm saying? They thought that he was the Messiah in the doggone 60s because the numbers added up. You see? And so therefore, that's why they took him out, and took him out in 1965. You see what I'm saying? Then in 1975, both he ascend and His Excellency Haile Selassie ascend on the same year. But you got to realize how the dates add up, because the Italian and Ethiopian War was 1935, 1936, all in a sequence. Either the ones or the fives. And now this is 1995, 1996. So now when we come back, we're going to get deeper into some prophecies. And so y'all take a little break. I know it's hot. We're going to go deeper into some prophecies. This is because, you know, I warm you up, but this is what we're going to be talking about. And you all stick around for this stuff. All right, let's deal with this thing. First of all, we're going to deal with this book, The Passover Plot. Now, this book here was perhaps the greatest conspiracy in human history, is the Jesus Conspiracy. This is one of the international bestsellers that was selling, I think it sold over 3 million copies sold around the world back in the 60s. I mean, it was little small books, and it's been obscure ever since, but they just reprinted it again. Elements book. His name is Hugh Schonfield. Hugh Schonfield is his name. The book, The Passover Plot. Now, in here it's going to be dealing with some stuff as this. What it's going to be dealing with is, Jesus studied the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Dead Sea Scrolls literally means, other than a Dead Sea where they live, the Dead Sea Scroll literally meant a book for the Dead Sea. And you are called the Dead Sea. Or you call the dispersed tribes of Israel, or the lost children of Ra, the lost children of Israel, or the Dead Sea, because you are dead. So the Dead Sea is the prophecy of the Messiah to come in your time. Real key. Now, this book, this guy here now, is educated in Britain, was nominated for a Nobel Prize, not surprise, but surprise or whatever, of international harmony. He's one of the original Dead Sea Scrolls scholars. And that's the key, because you got a lot of books on this Dead Sea Scroll, but once they found these Dead Sea Scrolls, I guess in the early part of the 20th century, this is one of the original scholars. So by him studying it, he said, oh, I got it. Jesus studied among the Essenes of the Gnostic schools. So he said, so Jesus went amongst the people, and I had to go get some clarity. Was Jesus trying to shit the people, or did he literally actually believe that he was the Messiah? Based on this book, he believed that he was the Messiah to fulfill a cycle that the Jews at that time was looking for. So by him believing that, he was able to put it out that way. But what happened is he ended up getting executed. Jeshua ben Pandera. And so the Jews like, hey, now wait a minute, if this is supposed to be the end times, and he's supposed to get executed, ain't no Messiah coming and getting killed. That just don't fulfill the messianic legacy. It's just that most people that just study Christianity think the Messiah starts with Jesus Christ. They didn't know that Messiah is a thing that's millions of years old, and he never is killed. Or she's never killed. I'm going to break this real thing of this Messiah in the lecture. So based on that, that's why your Jews, not your white Jews, but the white Jews are copying the original Jews, say, he was not the one. Now, so he tried to fulfill some prophecies. Or better yet, let's go into this guy says that he faked his own death, the Passover plot. But I don't know about all of that. I can't really say that he did, because I didn't get that from the spiritual realm. I heard he was executed. But what I do, but in here, some of the stuff that the man is talking about is how Jesus was trying to fulfill the prophecies. Now, there's another book called A Messianic Legacy. It's a little $6 paperback book. If you get it, everybody, all the white people buying it up. And in that book, I can't think of the guy. I'll give you the name of the guy's name in a few minutes. But in that book, they talk about how all of the people who've been ruling the earth ever since Jesus Christ been jumping on trying to fulfill the prophecy. Napoleon, Hitler, all your presidents of the United States, all tried to fulfill the messianic legacy, including Ronald Reagan and Jimmy Carter and all of them. It's interesting when I get into stuff, and we're going to deal with some stuff on Jimmy Carter. So this book, The Passover Plot, is dealing with once Jesus came and tried to fulfill the prophecy of the Messiah, it threw the whole Messiah thing off base, you see. And then that way you will never, and then right after that, you started following a Messiah other than coming a Messiah. It's a difference. You started following one other than coming to one. And this is what we're going to get into in a few minutes. Now, the name of the book, The Messianic Tradition. Let me give you the name of the guy's name who wrote the book. You can find some. I saw some up at Oxford, but we're going to try to get some here. I'm going to give you the guy's name. I think his name is Michael Begent, or something like that. Let me see. Is the Modern Times. Hold on 1 minute. Boom, boom. Well, anyway, I'll try to get it. Who wrote the book? But just remember the Messianic Tradition. Most white people, when you mention it, they'll know what it is, whatever. And you know, if they don't tell you, we out of it. Now, Gene Dixon also had a prophecy. That's why it's interesting that you got to get this book, because they're going to deal with Nostradamus prophecies, Edgar Cayce prophecies, and Gene Dixon prophecies, as well as some other people. Now, Gene Dixon prophesies that the Antichrist, or the Christ, whatever you want to say, because in here this guy says, well, I don't get into the Antichrist because I understand spiritual things. Antichrist or Christ, he said, will come on the planet within the 60s and will become, let me get some other prophecies that you can get. I'm going to Xerox this out of print book. But it says that these particular prophecies, it said that Gene Dixon says that the Christ or the Antichrist would be coming 30 around 1991 or 1992. 1991 or 1992. Now, one of the keys to this whole thing is they was trying to front and say Saddam Hussein was the Antichrist. But now, we know that's what you call it, because how are you going to say that Saddam Hussein is the Antichrist and George Bush wouldn't be the Antichrist? You understand what I'm saying? So they tried to front that type thing and try to curb Nostradamus' scriptures into talking about Saddam Hussein. But it was not supposed to be the one. First of all, when you go and see the guy, when you look at Jack Van Impe, see what's throwing white people off right now, the reason why they can't get it, white people are looking for the 7-year reign of the Antichrist. But what they don't realize is each year is like a day, each day is like a year to the Lord. And a year could be hundreds of years to God or whatever, to you or whatever. Each day to God is like 100 years or a year to you, or even 1,000. But the Spirit told us that the 7-year reign of the Antichrist was the 700-year reign of the Antichrist that would take place right after the Moors were expelled from Spain, and you would have Isabella and the boys coming over here to the whole expedition, you see. But somewhere in the 700-year period, the Moors set up some stuff in Spain on up to now is the 7-year reign of white rule over the world. So white people are looking for this 7-year reign of the Antichrist, and what they don't realize that the 7-year reign of the Antichrist is they have already been running this thing, and it means that white people are the Antichrist on that particular case, on the physical level. So now they're looking for this person to come, and they don't even know that, hell, we are beyond that point. It's 700 years, and we are right into the middle of this particular thing. So they're looking for all these particular people to be the Antichrist and all that, but they know the fulfillment of the Antichrist is them, period. Because whether you say, they will see what they do to throw you off, they'll give you a Napoleon. They'll give you a Hitler. And they'll give you a few beasts that they'll pick out of the whole crowd of them to say it's the doggone Antichrist. But yet, Hitler and Napoleon can't begin to do the things that the white race has done the last couple of 100 years. Check? So the 700-year reign of the Antichrist that they're trying to look for is already them, and they're going to be right in the middle of this thing. Now, going against the cycle. I remember when I first started out, I was telling you about criminals and all this kind of thing. And what's happening is the cycle is about to leave. It's an old cycle. So if you fall into the order and the smooth order of the old cycle, that means you are the most dead. And if you notice now, white people act more humane than black people. You see what I'm saying? I said act, not are. But you see what I'm saying? Black people are out of their minds. And you would actually, you would say, but black people are going crazy. You don't understand that white people are acting more humane than doggone black people is because white people fit into the old cycle, and they're conducive to an old cycle that's going out. And because you see black people acting crazy, which is mean this cycle is not conducive for them, so they're tearing up this cycle haphazardly or subconsciously so they can inherit the next cycle. So if things don't go right for you in this cycle, it means you're going to have an easy life in the next cycle. And it says that the one, but God, he who is he who is weak of soul and strong of flesh is the most hated of God. And it's because God has no pleasure in him that he lets life go along smoothly with him. So he will use up everything in this life, so won't nothing be left for him in the next life or the next dimension. So if you are conducive to this dimension, which is flowing smooth for you, that means in actuality you are not the right thing for the next dimension. Some people say, well, hell, what about black people? Some of them act white, but we're talking about races. We're not talking about individuals. You understand what I'm saying? An individual don't count for nothing, constitute for nothing. I shoot you in the head, the race it's the same day tomorrow. They're talking about races. So based on the races, wherever you go, black people are on the bottom. You see what I'm saying? Not a few black people in the comfort zone, the masses. So therefore, that means that we have outgrown this cycle and we're ready to go into the new cycle or the next dimension. Another dimension. We're going to slide. That's what the show is about, sliding. You sliding in another dimension. That's what they made the show, which is one of the most important shows, is Sliders. You see, they gave you the old shit. They show you Star Trek and all that physical space travel, which that's a holographic universe that you can't get in no spaceship and travel, or you'll just be out there in nothingness. But if you go into other dimensions, you can go into parallel worlds and universe through other dimensions. And there's only one way you can slide, and that's from the inside out. which means you got to go through the gateway in your head is how you slide to another dimension. Not no machines that open up a vortex and you slide through. The machine is inside your head and you slide into the next dimension when that cosmic blue, black dot and blueprint opens up in your head. You see, so we're talking about the next dimension. That's what heaven is. It's talking about the next dimension. Y'all all right with that? Now, the sacred 50. The sacred 50 that they're going to tell you about is going to be in the Sirius mystery. Well, also in that Honorable Elijah Muhammad thing, you got to understand that it's been 20 years since he left, and it's been 30 years since Malcolm left, which would be 50. On that same 50, every 50-year to 60-year cycle, that they're talking about a sacred 50, which this year, not next year, but we're going to tell you how this thing is going to add up when I get into the prophecies. This year is one of the key years to all of it. You see, this year, you see, not next year. Now, there is a Hebrew Messiah. See, the key is that Jesus tried to fulfill, Yeshua tried to fulfill the prophecy, but there's a Hebrew Messiah that Moses gave to Israel, which is the particular science on Jah. Jah is the Hebrew Messiah, and Moses gave the science to Jah to Israel. Jah is equivalent to the god Heru, or one of the mythical Christ that is supposed to come in the end time cycle. I thought I had some notes on Jah. I might have left them. But that would be the Hebrew Messiah that to most white Jews it has been forgotten. So that's the conflict between white Christianity and white Judaism is they're saying that the Judaism don't believe in a Messiah. Now, when I go deeper into Jah, Jah is not only a Christ figure, but Jah is also the black dot seed in you. Everything that you attribute to one man who could very well be the fulfillment of an icon. He's only a figure. But he being the figure will have nothing on you because you will be the figures too. And I'm going to show you where they show it right into the Bible. You see, right in the Bible. Jah, the Har son, may be found in Solomon's brother Jah Adani, or Adani Jah. Who is Jah Adani? He is the Hebrew solar sun Adon. Later on becomes, it was earlier Atan, or Raheru Kahudi. The sun god Jah is not born of flame when he is harmonious himself by the name as Jah, as Ashar, it's Ayah Ashar Jah, which it means that in actuality, he's not necessarily the flame. It's talking about the sun out there, but yes, he is the sun out here, is the symbol, but also it's talking about a sun inside of you that's also Jah also too. And that's one of the things when we're getting, when it's interesting, because ever since May, these transmissions we've been coming, Jah has been coming to us. Jah said, Jah is ready to take you. Jah is at the helm. Jah is in the woods. Well, in the woods it's talking about, in the wilderness is also talking about in your mind, and they say it's ready to take you. You are getting ready to be taken over by Jah, the sun inside of you. Everything is about you. That's the key to all of this stuff. It takes it off of the followers and all of that. It's about you. So it's about you. Holy blood, holy grail. You're going to hear white people talk about holy blood, holy grail. And they're going to tell you that King Arthur, the white King Arthur, had the royal bloodline of Jesus Christ. But what happened was the Moors went up into Europe and they established a kingship for white people, and they named it after Kemet. The word Kemet is the word Cam. So they said Camelot. Camelot. Cam, which means black. So King Arthur's court was named Camelot after Egypt. It was set up by the Moors, but they say the Sufi. The word Suf means wool, the wool-head ones. Sufi, the woolen ones, which means black. You got these white Sufis now, that's a miscegenated thing, but the original Sufis are the Moors who set up Camelot, and he gave them the holy blood, holy grail myth. The grail is actually the black dot in you, a disc. Also, it represents a particular a spaceship, which you can turn into a spaceship. We'll go into that in a minute, question and answer. Remind me of that. The Grail is the holy blood, holy Grail. They're saying the ones of the royal bloodline. Well, what makes you the royal bloodline of Jesus? It's talking about the ones who have the carbon in the bloodline, the melanin in the bloodstream. Because the Grail is the black dot. And they said the blood royal or the royal blood that's suitable for kings. Kings is another hieroglyphic word for black people. A kingly people who are kings based on their descendants from God, the Elohim. You see, they just later on took the Pharaoh as one representative of the king, but all of the people that was black on the earth was kings and queens. So the king, the kingly man, which is called the Adam Kadmon, the priestly man, the heavenly man, who has the royal bloodline, King of kings, Lord of lords. Check. So the holy blood, holy Grail. Now I got some stuff here in a book out of England on the holy guardian angel. See if I can get this thing, because I'm going to show you what's going on here. Some stuff. I got some other stuff on the holy guardian angel, but I want to see if I can find something here. First of all, the holy guardian angel that used to see. What happens is that the white people are writing a whole lot of books on the Kundalini. Right? So when I first heard about the Kundalini, I ran out and got a whole lot of books doing the meditation and all. And then last year during the Sirius ceremony, I would raise the energy up. Raise it up every now and then. But during the last year, during the July 23rd, I raised it all the way up and it stayed up. The energy, the Kundalini energy. And then when we went to the mounds, me, the sister, and 2 or 3 other sisters raised the stuff up and it stayed up. So this Christmas, I was like, well, damn. And I said, I thought when you raised the Kundalini, you're supposed to go to your godhood. And the Spirit said that's not the case. That's how the white people can get over on you. White people got all these books on the Kundalini. And they got all these books on the chakras and the Kundalini. And when they raise them, that's not the only part. You raising it, it only prepares your body to receive the entity, which is your holy guardian angel. The holy guardian angel is the most important of all magical links. It is not only the safe one between man and the forces outside. Crowley makes it, Aleister Crowley talks, so he was one of the good ones to talk about the holy guardian angel. Crowley makes it abundantly clear that the angel is not to be confused with a nubilous entity such as a higher self. He says, for the angel is an actual individual with his own universe, exactly as man is. You are in what you call universe A, the petty universe, the holographic universe, which is a series of events that you go through that doesn't exist. You just go through them in a life cycle while you in hell, while you asleep. So you have another spiritual body. It is shut down and is dead. And while it is asleep, it's projecting dreams in a series of events that don't exist because the physical is not real. It's only that you are born into the physical and you think it's real. But the holy guardian angel is universe B, outside of the cosmic gateway, which is the entity that's inside of you. Now this is very key that you know this, because we try to find out, well, people ask, well, damn, if we don't get the knowledge, how are black people going to behave in the hereafter? What is going to happen? How are we going to turn on all these people? And it's like a zombie effect. We're talking about a waking up with a capsule that's programmed with the knowledge of the great old ones, because you are the great old ones. So the holy guardian angel is a subjected entity. It is not a subjected entity, nor does it consist of consciousness that is of any individual. Its reflex, however, can constitute a potential of an essentially different order, and this is being interpreted as evil. So what they're saying is, a lot of the stuff, this particular holy guardian angel, once it's set in, you are a new people. Now when I go into the Bible, that's where they're going to say, I'm going to give you a new spirit, a new soul. People thought it was literally new souls coming on the planet. It's your new souls. Very key that you understand about the holy guardian angel, this entity that's going to retake you. Because if you got any of this conscious mind, you ain't going to make it. You see what I'm saying? Because this conscious mind is only trained to deal with things in the physical, and those things in the physical is the cycle is going away. Now the key with the white people is they don't have a holy guardian angel, so when the cycle leaves, it's like disappearing acts. Check. The real disappearing acts. All right. Now, let's deal with some of these prophecies, and we're going to go into the biblical thing, and we're going to go into some question and answer. 1981, very key year, 1981. 1991, because see, 1931, very key year. 1941, if you go back and you research it, that's what we need people to do. Find out what events happened in 1941. 1961, find out what events happened in 61. 1971, find out what events had happened in 71. 1981, very key year, because that is a key year before 1991 where you had the Gulf War. Not only that, you had another conflict with Ethiopia that breaks out. You see what I'm saying? Everybody always looking to fucking Israel over there. But when the stuff break out in Ethiopia, those are some of the keys. You see, one of the oldest holy lands. You see what I'm saying? One of the oldest holy lands. Now, look. 1981 was the killing of Bobby E. Wright. Anybody know who Bobby E. Wright was? He's the guy that wrote Psychopathic Racist White People. He's one of the people that told you that white people have a guilt deficiency. That's called a sociopath. They can put something in their brain and they can kill 1,000 people. As long as they can justify it or make up a justification, they can live with it. So, and he told Uncle Tom nigga, he said the only way you're going to get rid of him, this cracker, is, he said you can't live with him, you got to drown him, which means kill him. He said, I drowned the cracker. And the next thing we know, he comes down with cancer. We got a channel that the cracker shot him up with cancer, took him off the planet. 1981 was what? The year of the death of who? Robert Bob Marley. See what I'm saying? We know that was another thing. They shot acid in his foot. Now that's what Bob Marley said on the channel in October. Very key. 1981 was also the murder of Anwar Sadat in Egypt. One of the few, was one of the ones that stood up and said, I am a black man, and the first true pharaoh in 3,000 years. You see, was the murder of Anwar Sadat around September or October. You see, very key, 1981. 1981 was what? The year of the Atlanta child murders, which was also an experiment on interferon and also an experiment on Ebola, Zaire, the disease Ebola. That's what we got from the spirit world. Very key, 1981. 1984 was the year of, Jesse Jackson running. It's a symbol, not the man. It's also a year that Farrakhan stood up for him and gave him the FOI and just, and that whole thing, and made the so-called gutter religion remark that they blew out of proportion, and what's his name made the Hemmitt remark, Jesse Jackson. Also, you got to realize this. Everything is everything. Now, if anybody know anything about the music industry, rap music became on vinyl in 1979 with King Tim III, with Fatback Band, and a month later the Sugar Hill Gang. People entered high school in the 9th grade around that time. It wasn't until 4 or 5 years later that rap music took over the market, when doggone Run DMC sold 1 million copies in 1984. Very key. You see, because this would be the music for the new generation. You see, every revolutionary time got their music to go along with the shit, and by far it was rap. You see what I'm saying? This time, check. Now, if you notice, was they had a meeting in 1984 where they had Stevie Wonder and a group of people, and they said, "How you people spend all these years learning the craft on how to make music, and some brothers come up out of the ghetto that's talking literally and sell more records than you all?" And that was the year that it broke barriers. Run DMC, Houdini. You see what I'm saying? And then after that, it just went even crazy. It just went even bigger. You see what I'm saying? It went even bigger after that. Because before it was a miscellaneous thing. You got to look at this thing. Rap music was never on a major label up until 1984. Literally got on a major label in 1983 with a few things when you would have Houdini signed with Jive Records, and they went over to England and they remixed the thing with Thomas Dolby. See, I know the music industry because I was selling this shit. I was the #1 salesman of music in state of South Carolina, Peaches Records. I was in college. That's what I was doing. And see, the key was, I remember it was a whole bunch of miscellaneous levels, Sugar Hill Records, Next Plateau Records, all these miscellaneous records. But then, the first thing was that the major record companies like MCA they went and started distributing they come in and start distributing for these miscellaneous companies. Then the miscellaneous companies, they get in debt because they owe all this money to the distributors and they have to go out. That's how they bankrupt Sylvia and them boys for Sugar Hill Records and stuff. Then the music in 1985, you gotta look at this thing. The next year in 1985, CBS Records gave Def Jam boy, what's his name, Russell Simmons, a couple of $1 million to start the Def Jam label. The same year, 1985, LL Cool J came out when the Def Jam label was on a purple label. It was miscellaneous. Anybody remember these things that know anything about music? And then the same year, by Christmas of 1985, it became on the black label because CBS Records had picked them up. And then MCA put out a whole bunch of labels on the CBS thing, or MC on the rap thing, and the next thing you know, rap music went totally into distributed by the white labels. See what I'm saying? Very key. Now, that was 1985 when rap music became #1 with Def Jam Records. 1985 was also the same year, whether you believe it or not. If you study the stats, it was the same year that crack cocaine became a phenomenon. 1985. The next year it would have been so much. In 1 year it had climbed from 1985 to 1996 that Lenny Bias would die from it. Very key. 1985 is when the gangs started flaring up also too. 1985, 1986. Same time. We know that the gangs was all set up by the white man. Even though they've been having gangs since the turn of the century. They always had gangs, but they fund them, they made the gangs a multi-million-dollar corporation based on guns and all the stuff, based on drugs, based on the crack cocaine. 1985, a key year. 1985, you had what? The famine in Ethiopia. We are the world, remember that? 1985, Rock Hudson dies from AIDS. He was the first AIDS advocate to take it off of it makes national news from just a homosexual disease. The Rock Hudson had to come out of it. People entered high school in the 9th grade around that time. It wasn't until 4 or 5 years later that rap music took over the market when doggone Run DMC sold 1 million copies in 1984. Very key. You see, because this would be the music for the new generation. You see, every revolutionary time got their music to go along with the shit. And by far, it was rap. You see what I'm saying? This time. Check. Now, if you notice, was they had a meeting in 1984 where they had Stevie Wonder and a group of people, and they said, how you people spend all these years learning the craft on how to make music, and some brothers come up out of the ghetto just talking literally and sell more records than you all. And that was the year that it broke barriers. Run DMC, Houdini. You see what I'm saying? And then after that, it just went even crazier. It just went even bigger. You see what I'm saying? It went even bigger after that. Because before it was a miscellaneous thing. You got to look at this thing. Rap music was never on a major label up until 1984. Literally got on a major label in 1983 with a few things when you would have Houdini signed with Jive Records, and they went over to England and they remixed the thing with Thomas Dolby. See, I know the music industry because I was selling this shit. I was the #1 salesman of music in state of South Carolina, Peaches Records. I was in college. That's what I was doing. And see, the key was, I remember it was a whole bunch of miscellaneous levels, Sugar Hill Records, Next Plateau Records, all these miscellaneous records. But then, the first thing was that the major record companies like MCA they went and started distributing
they come in and start distributing for these miscellaneous companies. Then the miscellaneous companies, they get in debt because they owe all this money to the distributors and they have to go out. That's how they bankrupt Sylvia and them boys for Sugar Hill Records and stuff. Then the music in 1985, you got to look at this thing. The next year in 1985, CBS Records gave Def Jam boy, what's his name, Russell Simmons, a couple of $1 million to start the Def Jam label. The same year, 1985, LL Cool J came out when the Def Jam label was on a purple label. It was miscellaneous. Anybody remember these things that know anything about music? And then the same year, by Christmas of 1985, it became on the black label because CBS Records had picked them up. And then MCA put out a whole bunch of labels on the CBS thing, or MC on the rap thing, and the next thing you know, rap music went totally into distributed by the white labels. See what I'm saying? Very key. Now, that was 1985 when rap music became #1 with Def Jam Records. 1985 was also the same year, whether you believe it or not. If you study the stats, it was the same year that crack cocaine became a phenomenon. 1985. The next year it would have been so much. In 1 year it had climbed from 1985 to 1996 that Lenny Bias would die from it. Very key. 1985 is when the gangs started flaring up also too. 1985, 1986, same time. We know that the gangs was all set up by the white man. Even though they've been having gangs since the turn of the century. They always had gangs, but they fund them. They made the gangs a multi-million-dollar corporation based on guns and all the stuff, based on drugs, based on the crack cocaine. 1985, a key year. 1985, you had what? The famine in Ethiopia. We are the world, remember that? 1985, Rock Hudson dies from AIDS. He was the first AIDS advocate to take it off of it makes national news from just a homosexual disease. The Rock Hudson had to come out of the closet and dies in the fall of 1985 with AIDS. Even though AIDS surfaced in 83, 82, it became a phenomenon. 1985. 1985 is also the same year that Minister Louis Farrakhan had his vision of the wheel of the ship with Honorable Elijah Muhammad. 10 years after the ascension of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Very key dates. You see what I'm saying? Because if you take a cycle and see what's going on now, if you go back 10 years to that date, on that cycle, or 20 years or 30 years on the mark, you'll find out the same thing happens in a cycle. Because the earth and the universe go in cycles. That's why they got on me about giving dates. We're talking about cycles. You see what I'm saying? So, 1985, also the great earthquake in Mexico City. Remember the earthquake in Mexico? 1985. Real key. 1985 was a campaign also that we didn't even know who the fuck Nelson Mandela was over here until 1985 when the white people introduced Nelson Mandela, knowing 5 years later on the mark they was going to release him. And knowing that he was going to run for the presidency. You see what I'm saying? All set up. I told you that on the Running Man video that they named the city after him in 1987 before niggas even knew who the hell he was. You see? Because they knew he was going to run for the presidency because they knew they had to get up off of apartheid in the overt sense and go to the covert action by the one man, one vote that was set Negroes behind just like it set you behind with this whole voting bullshit. See what I'm saying? 1985, very key. You see what I'm saying? Now, now the manifestations of crack, you see what I'm saying? Gang, rap, all of that. See what I'm saying? Is prevalent today. All set up, you see, by the what you call it. They wanted to control the rap thing because they didn't want a Bob Marley manifestation or what transformed Jamaica based on the damn reggae thing. So they got on it, and by 5 years later when they started having the conscious rap with Public Enemy, Boogie Down Productions and all that, they got on the radio stations and they made sure that they cut that out. And now they can't sell a record. Right. If you ain't talking about shaking the booty. They got that out. They cleaned that up fast. It lasted about 2 or 3 years. It was going strong. But they got that out. Because why could they get it out? Because at that particular time it was out of the control of the miscellaneous labels, and it was being controlled by the labels. The white labels. All key. If you go in a particular cycle. Now, to show you something. To show you something in this out-of-print book I was reading. Look at this. This is very interesting here. See if I can find it. I think I got it in a note. You all bear with me. I want to read you something. Y'all all right? Okay. Going to some things. Heading on into the code in the Bible. I wrote this down out of some notes Friday. And it was interesting that this cracker was talking about. First of all, the woman that was reporting on this, she was making mockery of some prophecies. She was making mockery, and she was saying something about, did these prophecies fail? Now, I want to show you something. I got it right here in these notes. I want to find something that this white person was talking about, and so we can go into some things. But look at this. Bear with me, or I'll get it in a few minutes. She was saying, let me get this right. I think I got it on one of these pages. Anyway, what this woman was saying that in 1976, there was a TV show that was broadcast, and there was a guy on there was saying that Jimmy Carter would be one of the next Antichrists. Even though everybody who get in that chair is in the Antichrist legacy. But she was saying that this particular person was saying that Jimmy Carter should be the next Antichrist. And she says that this particular person was concerned about him being so awful, but then she was making mockery because this is the year 1995, and she was saying that Jimmy Carter did not turn out to be the Antichrist. But by her not studying metaphysics and by her not studying esoteric or world events, she didn't know what the hell was going on. First of all of them are the Antichrist, but let's look at Jimmy Carter. First of all, Jimmy Carter was worse than any other president. First of all, every other racist president, you knew they were a racist. Okay, it's true, not only did black people love Kennedy, all people love Kennedy. Black and white love that cracker. You see what I'm saying? But Jimmy Carter was the first president that went down in history as the black person's president. You understand what I'm saying? Right. As the black person's president. He also went down in history as being a president that was so-called a man of God because he was this Southern Baptist bullshit. Right. You see what I'm saying? But if you look now, hindsight is 20/20. So if you look now, let's look at Jimmy Carter. First of all, Jimmy Carter was the one that loved black people so much, or so-called black people thought he loved them so much, but he was the one that gave you the Global 2000, which is now where you get AIDS and Ebola and all that is set up on your Global 2000 to wipe 1 billion people off the planet by the year 2000. That is dealing with the Atlanta projects. The Atlanta project, which is the CDC. He's also the one that the Shah was a dictator in Iran where the people was poor and the Shah had doggone gold plumbing in his bathroom, but he was pals with Jimmy Carter until the people from Iran, with the Shah of Iran, took the thing over and kicked all the black people out. So y'all go on home. See what I'm saying? You all go on home. He was also the one that set up the King Alfred plan based on refurbishing the particular, he refurbished the concentration camps, which was the first leg of the ones he refurbished in 1979, the old concentration camps that they put the Japanese in, you see. So now, which is today is going to start based on FEMA, is based on the start was Jimmy Carter, who started the ball of refurbishing them. Before, 10 years later, Bush would close down the army bases, as well as the next people black people love is doggone Bill Clinton, who closed down the army bases. You see. So in actuality, the woman was laughing at a prophecy, but she didn't know whatever that person that was on a TV show in 1976 that was talking about the Antichrist that was supposed to go down with Carter coming in, he was actually forecasting something in the future that even he couldn't understand, and he played it out by making it into this biblical thing, you see, which you would think that biblical Antichrist is supposed to be the Antichrist. But he was a form of the Antichrist based on what went down. You understand what I'm saying? Based on what went down. Now, these, we tying in this stuff, and now we're dealing with prophecy. In the Passover plot, they're going to find out, he's going to say that the reason why Yeshua, or you call him Jesus, believed he was the Messiah was based on a lineage of Hebrew prophecy that said after 490 years the Messiah would come. But the Hebrews miscalculated the prophecies because the prophecies came beyond that and came from the ancient Hebrews, who were the Ethiopians. You see. So what happened is the prophecy was a prophecy meant for now. They thought during the time of Jesus that it was a prophecy meant for then. And Jesus, thinking he was the Messiah, tried to fulfill it. And as a result, hell, we got another, 2,000 years or more hell. Right. Now, this is one of the keys. I asked the Spirit, because not only is the doggone Jews fronting, the white Jews front, that Israel, based on prophecy, is supposed to become a nation. And based on that, they set up the illegal Israeli state with this fake Jew in what, 1945 or 1947? 1948. 1948. No, I'm talking about the one after the World War II.
That's it, baby. 1948.
1948. They set up the illegal thing. They did it based on a prophecy coming out of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Now, this is the key behind this. Now, this is the key that you got to listen very close. The prophecy was Israel becoming a nation. So I asked the Spirit, well, hell, if the fake Israel that we know of, or the white Israel, is not the nation, then when did or when would Israel become a nation? I say because I know the real meaning for Israel is Israel. It means black people. Right. So when did or when would Israel become a nation? And the Spirit said, you became a nation when you came to the West. Now let me explain this. When you came into slavery. In the ancient world, black people didn't have a concept of race because you were all black. Right. You had different cultures, and later on when you started skirmishing, it was a cultural thing. It wasn't a racial thing. You understand what I'm saying? But you got all these different tribes. The Egyptians is a form of that tribe. Your Nubians, your Ethiopians, all that is the Hebrew nation. Or the nation of Islam. Or the nation of Egypt. Whatever you want to call it. It's one nation. But we got to what makes them a nation as united one. First of all, they don't know they're a nation based on culture and tribalism. But we want them to know that they're a nation based on race and race alone. And the only way you know something based on race is you got to use someone outside of the race to remind the ones that's the culture and the tribalism that they are one race. So therefore we must extrapolate or extract a multiplicity or the mixed multitudes of black people from around the world and put them in the West. You understand? And then they become a nation. So they're talking about the nation that they're talking about is from the Caribbean on up. Not saying that the people from Africa is not the nation, but they're talking about when did Africa become a nation? It became a nation when we took a consortium of all the black cultural races and put them in the West. Now, I say, now that's going to be kind of hard, because we're trying to pinpoint something that's going down here. First of all, you telling me that the start of the 490-year period before the Messiah comes, and I don't want you to get stuck up in some fucker coming across the water to meet you. Damn that. I'm going to explain that in a minute. Literally talking about you getting out of this mess. So I said that's going to be kind of hard, because we know, even though the dates that they say they had slavery going on in pockets in the United States ever since the cracker been over here. You see what I'm saying? Other than the date when they say slavery started. But if you know anything about universal cosmic law, even though slavery could start far beyond the date that the white man gives you, if you know anything about cosmic law, you ever hear the Egyptians say, so is it written, so shall it be done. That means that they are etching it into the universe. See, once you make a decree, it gets it off of the different times on the social level, it makes it a law to the universe. So all you got to understand is the date when it will start is the date that white people make a mandate and a decree that slavery is now in session wholesale. And that day was 1505. Even though slaves had been here prior to that. 1505. See, you had the Portuguese was the ones that was dealing with that, but it wasn't until the Spanish said 1505 is the day that we give slavery. Now, add up 1505, 490 years from 1505, and see what the hell you get.
1995.
1995. 490 years. And it says, I'll read it. There's a good part about that in this Passover plot, in something called the Last Times. In the Last Times. And it's talking about here it is. It says, if you want to do it, you don't have to do that. Go and study the book of Daniel. Because now your book of Daniel is the Hebrew version of Revelations. In the book of Daniel, it is found in the book of Daniel in a prophecy of 7 weeks. Later misunderstood to mean 7 weeks of years. 490 years. The last time could be expected to be after the lapse of 490 years from the going forth from the commandment, Cyprus, to restore and rebuild Jerusalem after 46 BC. The last times of 490 years is when Jerusalem will be rebuilt. Now, when I go into metaphysics, what is Jerusalem? Jerusalem is the soul. We're rebuilding the tree of life. 490 years is a key. They say that the Messiah will return 490 years after Jerusalem is rebuilt. Keep that in mind. Look, 1505 is the first part of slavery as a mandate or the decree to make it into law, cosmic law. 1905 is 400 years to the day. Now, because see, I go every damn day. Because I don't work nowhere. Fuck the dumb shit. I say I'd rather be poor than to work and not get the shit. So what I do is, I'm on the damn prowl every day. If the car ain't running, I catch the bus, and I go to the cracker store, and I literally go to 7 days a week. And I read everything, because everything come out. So now I'm waiting on shit to come out. I know it all. So I'm up in there, and about a month ago, no, about 3 weeks ago, this book comes out. Little book called, it's a little book, I don't know if she got some, $7, called Millennium Prophecies, the Prediction for the Year 2000 by A.T. Mann. Little $7 book. It was a $13 book. They made it a little smaller and made it $7. Whatever you do, you get this book. A.T.M.A.N.N. Millennium Prophecies. 400 years later, from 1915, is 1905. Jeremiah says that the age of Aquarius begins. 1904, a year before that, Aleister Crowley announces the year of Horus, the eon of Heru. Now, let's turn and see. They give you every prophecy. They say that they so-called, in this book, they got every prophecy in the world that they could muster up. And it starts from, they start with 5960 BC. Now, let's look up Jeremiah when he made this for prophecy on 100 years of our particular 100-year anniversary of this particular thing, 100 years, which would be what? That would be, I don't know what that would be, the centennial. No, excuse me, 400 years. So what would that be? 400 years, I don't know, the bi, tri, whatever. What is 400 years? Shit. Huh? Centennial or whatever the hell that is. Let's look at this and see what we can find in this book. Jeremiah announces, this y'all all right? Okay, let's see. Jeremiah announces this particular part. Page 116. It says, page 116, it says, Jeremiah used the standard procession of periods of 2,160 years to each zodiac sign of 30. 2,160 years to each zodiac sign of 30. And assumes that the starting point to be 255 BC, which meant the beginning of a new age of Aquarius, would begin in 1905. 1905. Year before that, Jeremiah was delivered the book of law, 1904, which would be like 1999 compared to the year 2000, or 1994 to 1995. So he receives the book of law, which is 90 years ago last year. To be 91 years was 91 years in May, in April. Now, if you add 90 years to 1905, you get what? 1995. You understand? Very key, because we get another date. The Italian-Ethiopian War starts in 1935 to 1936. Very key. We need some people to do some stuff on that. See, we don't have to say what date it is, but we're trying to tell you what season it is. Because the Italian-Ethiopian War is very key. Because that was the whole war of what? The fucking Ark of the Covenant. That was the war fought over. Despite what they was in there to get that Ark. All bullshit aside. Y'all all right? Now, let's deal with some other prophecies. I go all over. I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen to this. Y'all bear with me. I know it's hot, but I want to give you some stuff that I want you to deal with. Here it is. All right. 1994, the comet known as Shoemaker Levy 9 crashed into the sacred planet of Jupiter. Could something happen to the Earth? You bet, says scientists. Now, this particular Orthodox cracker Jew, which got all our science because they studied the Kabbalah, named Lubowas, interpreted the Zohar, the Kabbalah, a Jewish mythical text, and it meant that the end of the world will come. Then he said the end of the world will come when there will be an impact on Jupiter. Now this ain't coming from me, this ain't coming from the cracker, this is coming from the sacred text of the Holy Kabbalah, written eons ago. This predate the time they said written, they go all the way back to Atlantis and Lemuria. The end of the world will come when the impact on Jupiter. That impact occurred the summer of 1994. Lubowas insisted this event foretells the coming of the Messiah. I keep saying the Messiah. Now, what does it mean? It crashed on July 16th last year, 1994. The sign of the Messiah came in September with the white buffalo, a 1 out of a million chance being born. Other religious groups agree that there will be signs from the heavens when the King of Kings is about to return. According to the Gallup Group survey, 65% of Americans believe that Jesus, or whatever you might want to call him, Mark D. Christ, Heru, you see, will return to the earth of the apocalypse, Armageddon. So most of them believe that stuff. It's just that most black people don't believe that shit. You know, white people believe it. They got to, because this is all they have. You see what I'm saying? You're going to inherit the next kingdom, all of you, and you don't believe nothing. You see what I'm saying? Now, this is the key. Look at this. Harold Camping. There's a cracker named Harold Camping. Anybody ever heard of him? He comes on in California somewhere. Harold Camping, the owner of a family radio in Oakland, California, with the program broadcast to over 40,000 stations nationwide, tells the radio listeners that if you want the end times prophecy fulfilled, here it is. The comet proves it. Talking about the comet of Jupiter. The comet proves it. Now, you saying, now y'all laughing saying that shit was last year and this nigga talking about that. No, I'm going to show you how that goes in a few minutes. The comet of Jupiter. Now, this is the deal. Let me see. It says proves it. Camping insists and interpretates the Bible that says that on September the 6th to the 7th, there will be signs in the sky of the sun, the moon, and the stars, such a character that anyone in the world would know that something as dreadful is about to happen, except black people. Now hold it right there. Didn't I just read some shit to you a few minutes ago that I said I went back in and I got the book from the movie Outbreak? Did y'all copy the months that this thing is supposed to go down? It said August the 19th to September 6th. Now what are the odds of them crackers putting that in the book? See what I'm saying? Everything is everything. Now I'm not giving another date because I'm going to show you what you got to deal with on this. Now, September 6th or 7th will be the signs of the sky of the sun and the moon and the stars, the character what everyone will see something dreadful is about to happen. And in September the 6th or something, around that particular time, the white buffalo was born in 94. He says September 1994, Jesus would return. Unfortunately, Camping and his followers did not arrive at the date they expected. Bullshit. They didn't understand what was going on. He said at the beginning of the book, he said it will be signs. Around September, Jesus did return, or the Christ. It was a sign of the white buffalo being born. You see what I'm saying? The white buffalo is being born. Now, it's interesting because when he gives that particular prophecy, it's interesting because it was. And they're talking about signs. See, when we went on the mounds around the same time the buffalo was born, they told, the white buffalo was born, they told us that there is no more such thing as time as what you know it. Time is what you know it is over. So they were saying there is no difference between 1994, 1995, or anything. But each year to us equals, each day to us equals 1 year to the Lord. So therefore, if you look for it to come in 1 year, it might come when the cycle is completed in another year. You understand what I'm saying? Now, Elizabeth Clare prophet says this. She says she has long predicted the end, and says she wrote to a paper on the Armageddon in an essay in USA Today that was published in 1990 by William S. Allman. The interview with prophet and regarding the end. She told the readers that April 23rd, 1990 had marked the beginning of a period of a new turn of a black cycle in time in which the negative karma will become crashing down. It's called the Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga. Now what's that going on? If you go back and look into your lives, and just go back and look, some of you will find out that you started going and getting into either financial or some type of thing started going down within the last 4 or 5 years. It don't mean it's been going down since 1990, but there's some things that's been going down dramatically to you within the last 5 years. If you just go back and think back, That is because all negative karma has got to come down on you to purify you for the next stage. And it goes something like this. We're out here dead. We're looking for money, and we're looking for the pursuit of happiness that the cracker told you you're supposed to look for as individuals that don't constitute for shit. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which is some bullshit. That separates you from the yearning and the suffering from all your people. So what do? At that particular time when you listening to the pursuit of happiness and all this, you going on with it, things started happening to you to purify you, to get you ready for the next cycle. You see, it had to be a break in all this partying. You see what I'm saying? This 20, 30, 40-year partying in America, and all of a sudden, you start falling back into consciousness. You see what I'm saying? And that's that particular cycle called a Kali Yuga. Prophet has over 30,000 followers worldwide and believes that the end will take place between the years 1990 to the year 2000. Now, y'all think you're calling me crazy, calling me all this stuff, some of this nigga giving predictions, but I'm telling you what the white people doing prophecies. They not doing no shit to no year 2000. That's what them black preachers is trying to deal with, because they don't believe in none of this stuff. They can't believe in it and got a white Jesus in their shit. The white people saying between 1990 and the year 2000 the stuff is going to go down. Now, what do they mean by that? First of all, the God's going to come. Well, obviously, this is the season, right? Okay, let's look at the scenario of that. It can't be past because nothing happened in the past. We know that it can't be the year 2000 because all the crackers believe in the year 2000. If it don't go down in the 90s, it's got to be before the year 2000. And secondly, if it don't go down in the year 2000, they know any year after the year 2000, they answer the trouble. Right? It can't be next year because the cracker says this. And this goes to what you just calculated, brother. In the year, it says, it has been a reason by biblical scholars that since the day of God equals 1,000 years for man, that God labored for creation for 6,000 years. So, since God labored for that God labored for creation 6 days, that man should labor 6,000 years to take a rest. Thus, using using other scripturally derived numbers, the world should end in 1996. With luck, we will see. Now, just to keep making fun of it. So that means the cracker know that this date is significant, 1996. But if he's looking for that date, and if it don't go down that date, 1997, 1998, 1999, year 2000, and beyond, starting next year, he's going to be looking. So that means some shit is going to go down, or should go down, right about in this area, if not beginning of 1996. Now, it could go down in 1996, because the cracker still, even though these scriptures, he really don't believe it. Because the cracker's look at it this way. The cracker say, ain't no way in hell I'm going to believe this going. God's going to be against me, and he going to leave these niggas down here this long to struggle, and he keep them in the ass for 1,000 years. If they had any kind of God, he would have rescued them a long time ago. That's the way God does it. He leaves you in your agony so long until not only does the white man and anybody else in the world don't believe you're going to get out of this, you don't believe it worse than anybody else. See what I'm saying? And you got a calculation of 1996. Now this is the key. If you follow the Bible, there's got to be a war that's going to go on before the kingdom. The kingdom is established last. That means it's got to. The cracker can't go into the kingdom. So if the kingdom to be established, which is going into the other dimension, the cracker's got to be eliminated. Go back and read the book of Revelation. They got to eliminate the cracker before the kingdom starts. The kingdom is after the war of Armageddon. Although Armageddon is going on for years. But we're talking about this cosmic war, the last stage. Now, let's go on to a few other things, and we'll deal with the Nostradamus prophecies. And then we're going to go on to it. Y'all all right? I think this is a lot longer lecture because the heat is doing it, you see. Otherwise, it would have been, usually 3 or 4, 5 hours is like 2, but this is a full extent of a damn 3 hour here. You see. Y'all ready? All right, let's end this thing. Reginald Dunlap, 1986. These are his prophecies. He said famine 1986, famine of American farmer. That happened. Anybody go back and check? 1986, the people from the West, the farmers out of the South had to send help to the farmers in the West. 1987, the farmers in the West had to send help to the farmers and aid for the farmers in the South. This guy, Reginald Dunlap, said that the rapture will take place in 1991. The rapture started in 1991. What they mean was, I think it wasn't that both Delbert Blair and that Brother Dawood told you that one of the pivotal points of the rapture and a war would start with the Gulf War that didn't stop, because there's all kinds of things, events, so that was one of the starting points. We're in the war right now. That's why it was pivotal, because 10 years before that you had all these black figures dying in 1981. You see. So the reason why they are the butt of most intellectual jokes is because they're Christians. And they use such a dramatic way of saying the prophecies that they get. Rapture, so-and-so. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, when certain things happen socially and cosmically, and it doesn't look like the biblical rapture, which is metaphysical, they get the butt of the jokes. So now they write these things up in papers about what these people, but things did happen. You see. He also said, Armageddon, Reginald Dunlap says that Armageddon is scheduled for 1995. You see? Everything is everything. Doug Clark announced also on the television show in 1976 that Jimmy Carter was a form of the Antichrist. I already explained that to you. But the guy, in hindsight, those things did happen. Gene Dixon says around the time of February of 1992, the Antichrist or Christ will return, or will turn age 30. You see, will turn age 30. So these are some very key dates on some things that was going down. Now, this is the Nostradamus prophecies. Now, these are some books that you're going to get. One of the good books is, I hope if nobody ain't stole the damn thing. Oh, I got it. Here it is. Nostradamus, the next 50 years. A new translation of the coming millennium and beyond. Now, why do I say this is a good one? The complete prophecies of Nostradamus. And this is a good one. They got these two in the store. Nostradamus, Visions of the Future by J.H. Brennan. They have these two in the store. And this one is by Robert Lawrence. Now, Peter Lemisher is the one to give you the Armageddon script and also the Great Pyramid decoded. Whereas in this book, he says that the Messiah will be born in the West of poor parents. Now, you ain't got but two poor people here. Because anybody else come over here, shit. If they was poor, they wouldn't have got out the damn country where they come from. Because this ain't no fucking Ellis Island. And them crackers that came in Ellis Island is now rich and they're exploiting our ass. So you ain't got but two kind of poor people here. Majority poor black people and poor white trash. And ain't no Christ going to incarnate in no rich white trash, let alone no poor white trash. So who are they talking about? Us. But don't get caught up on the Messiah looking for one. I got something to tell you in Waite's Kabbalah. And we're going to read it and we're going to see what the Kabbalah says. Hold on. Now, Peter Lemisher is this particular guy. So this is one called Nostradamus, the next 50 years. And then I bought this one, Nostradamus, Visions into the Future by H.J. Brennan. And then there's Nostradamus. There's about 20 books on Nostradamus. I just picked the ones that appeal to me. You know, the ones that's a little more honest. Like this one straight up said that the black man will retake the earth. So this is the one that I like, as well as this one, because they honest. You see, by Robert Lawrence. These are the two is next door. Now, it says, this is quatrain 574. It says, when it turns when turns at last mighty number 7, at the time the ritual games shall be found no longer before the earth sees it sway to heaven, that those long-headed are rising from the ground. What this one says is, basically, he said, I will put it in code. How many people saw the Nostradamus video yet? Did anybody get a chance to see it? It's at Blockbuster. Now, don't go get the wrong one. Nostradamus, Orion Pictures, 1994. Now, when you go see the video, they're going to show him he's going to go to this nobleman's house, and the nobleman is going to teach him how to make his prophecies better. Okay? The man that they show, even though he's going to look white, and they're going to show him as a white man, he is a Moor. He's going to take him in the bottom, and he's going to show him all these books that he has of the Kabbalah, the greater and lesser key of Solomon. He's going to show him these books. That's a black man that taught him. Now, if you got a pencil and a piece of paper, you need to write this down. In the movie, he's going to hold out a bowl. And in that bowl, he's going to have a potion mixed together. And he's going to tell Nostradamus takes it and licks it. He said, in time when you take this portion, your visions is going to get a lot clearer. So Nostradamus takes it and licks it. He says, that's nutmeg in there. And the man says, among other things. You see what I'm saying? You didn't get the other portion, but I'm going to give you the other portion tonight so you can start opening up and prophesizing too. You see, everybody needs to start opening up psychically. The Spirit came to us a week later after we saw the movie and told us the rest of the portion. Although I had known it, and the reason why I know it's true, because a brother up in New York by the name of Bill Lilly gave me the portion months before I even saw the movie. You take some nutmeg, you take some honey, you take some cinnamon, and you take a pinch of cayenne pepper. You mix it together and boil it into a tea, and you drink it. Go easy on the nutmeg, because if you drink it once a week, do it once a week. Get it in the bloodstream. Or once every 3-4 days, because if you do it every day, it becomes poison, because nutmeg becomes poison. You can eat it, but you can't eat it every day. So do it every 3 days to a week. And boil that nutmeg, honey, cinnamon, and a pinch of cayenne pepper. And that'll open up. Because that's your higher self. There's the gods, and they like certain herbs. And they come in and they talk through you. So when you put that nutmeg in there, you're giving them something. They tell you, you got to give up some shit to get something. And the Yoruba, they like 151 rum too. They like that, the Orishas. Same thing. You call them Orishas, Netta, or whatever you want to call them. They say you got to give up something to get something. So when you start taking that nutmeg and it get in your bloodstream, then they like that. Then they can start communing with you. And that's how he got those prophecies. So here, he's saying, long dreaded, he say these people will be long dreaded, will rise up from the earth. That's you. Because the earth is also talking about raising up from the dead, which is talking about metaphysical, talking about raising up from your sleep. You see. Now, when you get these books and you read the ones, this is how you do. Don't fall into things. When you read the ones, read his prophecies and don't literally read the translations. Because the prophecies transcend the others. What I mean by that is, here is one that in the movie you're going to see where he prophesies that this king would die, and the king did die, got stabbed through the eye. And it says the younger lion will overtake the new one. The younger lion will overtake the old one. In a martial field duel, a man to die. 2 breaks once, the eye is pierced in a cage of gold. Death shall come hard as only dying can. Well, that's the one when this younger one was doing a battle and they got this jousting and he sticks the other one in the eye. That happened in the 1500s. But on the other hand, what also happened is, that's not only is the prophecies, these prophecies redo each other. They are made for that time and they're also made for another time. They transcend each other. So when you read the early prophecies and you throw off the translation, they're talking about now, if you can decode them. So here, the younger lion will take the old one. You will call the lion. And they're talking about here, the old one, they're talking about the fake one that's ruling. He called himself the fake Jew. And he's ruling, or the fake white man, because it's all one people. Then the younger lion is you. If you get the Apocrypha, the book that's taken out of the Bible, the reason why they had to take it out, because it contains scriptures older than Jesus Christ, and they didn't want to put that in there because they couldn't front the shit. So they took the Apocrypha, among other books, out. They got the Apocrypha next door in the book of Esdras. In that book, Esdras, he says what? An eagle will be ruling the whole world. Then up will rise a young lion and will do battle with the evil and conquer the eagle. You are the young lion. The Sphinx is your symbol. So these are two particular prophecies that they are dealing with right here. Now look at this one. And now, you got to get 2 or 3 or 4 prophecies, because they got Nostradamus prophecies in this book. Millennium prophecies, the prediction of the year 2000. man, if you don't get no books, get this one. Little $7 book, got all the prophecies. And you study the prophecies for yourself and calculate these shits. I'm going to be the only one. You might come up with some stuff. Get in touch with me or get in touch with somebody. You got to break the codes. You see what I'm saying? Now, in here, in one, they're talking about the United States, and the best one is in this one. It says, through the U.S., through all the U.S., his last hand bloody. In this one it says, thus the final fight, talking about the U.S. going for their final battle, will fail to ensure his status overseas. Which means, whatever that means, it means that this cracker ain't going to win this one. Between 2 rivers, because he's looking in the future, the Atlantic and the Pacific, a fearful, armed and mighty, furious black shall make him bend a knee. In this one it says, a black and wrathful one will be repentant. So it's crucial when you read this. In here, don't read the prophecies. In here, he said it was doggone the L.A. riots. What the hell is that? That was started by white people. In this one, he said it was damn Colin Powell. Come on now. They'll say anything, but see, they know what it is at this, that they can't bear to see what the shit really say. Say a black rifle one will make him bend the knee. You see? Now, it says, and that's in century, they go by centuries. When you want to look up, they have century 1 through 6. This is century 6. 33 is where you get that one about their last hand bloody. In century 2, 29, it says, forth from the seat of the original, crossing of the Apennines, fair to France, the sea, hail peace from the sky travels the seas, and show, strike all with his rod, ho, they be. Yeah. What they mean by that is they're talking about something on a cosmic deal again, on something coming from the sky. Here it says the soulless corpse, which is you, come at you dead, shall no more, which means shall be no more. The day of death leads on to the birth of a new. The Holy Ghost is the rapture, shall restore the soul, the soulless, the internal world shall plainly view. So that means it's going to restore your soul. Now, the end of the world being nearest in period, Saturn shall come yet late to its return. Saturn, that was the Siggy ceremony last year. It's been a year later. It should be here now. Yet late to its return, the empire shall be changed to black nations. Nirvan will have his eye pecked out by a hawk. In the book of law, Heru comes in the 3rd chapter and says, I will peck out the eye of Jesus as he hangs upon the cross. That's talking about religions. Ain't got nothing to do with Jesus for 2,000 years. The white man rules you on religions as well as money, you see, as well as money. So that's one again talking about the empire coming from black. Now this is a UFO army, the black UFO army. This is Century 2, 30 to 81. It says, by fires from the sky is almost, he says, no, fires from the sky, a city is almost raised by flooding against a treacherous Greek, against and threatens the Greek Noah. He's talking about white people again, and Sardinia, vexed by an African fleet after Libra leaves Leo. So right there he's saying from the sky something is coming. And these white nations will be raised from the top, and they, well, what is the fleet on this stuff from the sky? He says an African fleet. That's in this particular book, an African fleet. Here's one talking about Sirius rising. A great star through day will burn so that two stars or two suns will appear. That's the sun in the sky and the sun inside of you. It's the sun inside of you. These are some Nostradamus prophecies. This is the most famous one. The year 1999, 7 months from the sky. From the sky will come, see, there's again, from the sky will come a great king of terror. The result, and it reconstitutes the great king of the Mongols, before which Mars reigned happy. Mars is also a symbol of the Christ, because the Sphinx is on Mars, the Sphinx is here. He said, from the sky, a great king of terror. You the king of kings, Lord of lords, because you got the kingly, priestly blood. Okay? It also says, will reestablish the king of the Mongols. So the white man thinking it's the yellow race, but he don't realize the original Mongols are black. Nostradamus said, I will put it in a code so I won't get killed. So he knows, based on the Moor teaching him, that the original Mongolians were black. So he's talking about black people. You understand what I'm saying? So in this particular book, it says, if you look up 1999, so 1999, in this book he says, you turn it upside down and you get the number 666. You see what I'm saying? Which is 18. But what about the 1? You add that and that's 19, which is Leo, the lion, which is the Sphinx, and the Sphinx is a symbol of black people. You see? So these could be years, these could be codes, because there ain't no such no time as dates. Now in this one, dealing with the same prophecy of 1999, look at what it says. 1999, a great king of terror arrives. That's what that said. Blood, pestilence, red and 2 rivers. He connected the great king of terror with the black raffle one that will make him bend one knee. So they're telling you it's the same prophecies. And it says, pestilence, famine, natural catastrophes, Armageddon. You damn right. That's what's going on before you. Heat wave, earthquakes, fires, floods, you name it. We getting it. Every place but the ghetto. Ain't it funny how the children of Israel don't never get nothing, or the children of Egypt or whatever. The black nation don't never reign in the ghetto. They showed the thing of natural disasters on yesterday on National Geographic, and it was funny. Never in the projects. All right, let's deal with these particular. Biblical things. Let's deal with these particular biblical things. 1965, okay, let's go down this list and we're going to go with this here. I'm going to go. 1965 to 1995 is 130 years, which is the Emancipation of the Proclamation, or the freedom of servitude, you know, getting out of slavery. It's 130 years. Based on the Kabbalah date, the Kabbalistic 130 means deliverance. 130 also means the number AIN, AIM, which is talking about the black hole or the cosmic substance. You see. Now, all right, 1996, kingdom prophecies. The kingdom prophecies of 1996. Now, also what that means is the guy says, with luck we shall see 1996. That's the kingdom. But it's got to be something that's going to issue in the kingdom, which is a great war. Now, based on the prophecies that we got this week, it might go down, some shit might jump off, anywhere from September to August the 19th, September the 6th, but one of the major dates is the Million Man March in Washington, D.C. That's going to be a pivotal point. The Million Man March. That's in October. October 16th. Well, it's interesting because I got something on October, and I want to read that to you to let you know that this thing is the way it is. It says, autumn is celebrate the festival of Michael. Michael is the angel that's fighting in the book of Revelation when you start reading the Revelation. That's the archangel Michael, which is Harmarku in Egypt, which is Sphinx is named after, or Melchizedek is Michael also. It says, autumn, now this is coming from a book, if you can get your hands on it, a $21 book out of England called, I'm going to have her to order it here, it's called The Apocalypse of St. John by Emil Bach. Real good book. And it says here, autumn is celebrate the festival of Michael, or in Egypt it would be Harmarku or Harmachis, which would be the Sphinx, Heru on the horizon, and all angels. September is filled with the afterglow of summer. The sun passes through the sign of the Virgin, the abyss. It also moves into the apocalyptic image of the woman clothed with the sun. You'll hear, I behold, I saw a woman in heaven clothed with the sun and the moon at her foot, at her feet. You will hear that. You will hear that in the Bible. And she was carrying this child. It says, so at this moment when it goes through the sign of the Virgin, the apocalyptic image of the woman clothed with the sun and the moon at her foot is realized in the sky. Later on in November, that's in October, around that part. Later on in November, the sign passes into the Scorpio, or the scorpion, and the world is become a homeless and cold in the city of the sign of the dragon rules, the double beast of Leviathan, of Leviathan, or the Baphomet. Now, around October, in this autumn, September and October, is you got this festival of the Archangel Michael. So it's key that this whole Million Man March is also going on during the time of the afterglow of the summer. So just be on the lookout for some things that's going to happen during that particular time that's going down. Now, this is the key what I want you to know. I've been talking about the Messiah all night, and this is one of the main keys. We're going to deal with this right now. This is in A.E. Waite. You should be able to get some of these. They have them. She's going to be getting them here. But they got a few copies of this in another cover. They just at the Sphinx, at the shrine. So this is the one you want. This is the one that gives you the biblical scriptures. A.E. Waite's Holy Kabbalah. It was $15 back then. It's about $16.95 now and stuff. Now, look at this. In here, on page 322, they're going to give you a bit of some stuff on who the Messiah is. First of all, it says this, and let me read this to you. This is very key. You got it. If you don't know nothing, you need to learn this. The time of the coming of the Messiah will be the souls who are kept in the treasury of souls against the day of their incarnation shall have actually come higher in flesh, which means you would be, since the day that you incarnated, your spirit has been rising inside of your flesh. They're talking about you, the ones that's raising in the consciousness. That's you right now that this book is talking about. They're talking about you right now. It says, thereafter would seem the new souls will be incarnated into Israel. Israel is black people. But one last thing with these biblical prophecies. New souls, that's the higher entity, the holy guardian angel coming into you and retaking your body like a zombie effect. Then shall the chosen people deserve to find and shall not fail herein to be beloved all sister souls predestined to each form since the all sister souls predestined to each from the beginning. So that means the second coming, these souls, these higher beings that was from the beginning, not all of you will get them, the chosen people, because you are the ones that's got the dates. Now, this is on page 320 to 321. Let me read this. It is an allusion to this that the scripture says, a new heart also I will give to you, and a new spirit I will put within you. And again, it shall come to pass that I will pour my spirit upon all flesh. Now, if Jesus is one person, what the hell is you getting from Jesus for? That's talking about you. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, and young men shall see visions. In another unpatriarchal version, they say the men shall prophesy, no, the men shall dream dreams or something, and the women shall see visions or whatever. And they talk about the men will come up, they will get it through analytical calculations, and the women will get it through spiritual psychic insight. But either way, if you open up, they talk about all the people. The intruders, which is the white people, now there's a footnote on the intruders, shall be exterminated at the time when there shall be accomplished, which is said to be the old tradition. To this period, referable to the text in Genesis, which says that Adam and Eve were naked and ashamed. Now, the reason being that the intruders cause luxury, and when they disappear, all learning towards in continuance will be vanished in likewise. Like mean that the white boy giving you all these luxuries and all of this money and all this stuff is interfering with the real deal knowledge that you're supposed to be getting. The intruder. Footnote on the intruder. Who is the intruder? The reference is primarily the mixed crowds that followed Israel, which is you. These mixed crowds of crackers, some of your Asians that's got the mutant, some of your white people, well, most of your white people, all of your white people except for like 1% or less than that, 0 point something, and different mutants that's mixed up. During the Exodus from Egypt, the Exodus from Egypt is talking about the Exodus when you came over here. Who put you in this shit? Egypt, where afterwards separated the chosen people. Boy, they're throwing down in this book. And it says, there are reoccurring illusions in one place, and it says that these aliens were souls in transmigration from it says, and these particular souls destroy worlds. They talk about the cracker. They call them aliens. He said they followed you, Israel, which is black people. That's the intruder. Now, this is the part that I want you to understand if you don't understand nothing. First of all, this is going on. They say they're going to give you a new soul, a new spirit. And the intruders who don't have the gateway opening to receive the new soul, what will happen to him is he will be eliminated, and he will no longer be able to give you the luxuries to keep you blind. All in the Holy Kabbalah. This is the book that the Bible wrote their shit from. This is the one. You see? And this one is not just Hebrew. This is the Egyptian, because you see the Egyptian holding up this. This book goes all the way back to Atlantis. Now, this is the part. This is what you need. Listen. Same page, listen, let it be said that you the Messiah. In this book, which is the precursor. Now, what I want to explain to you is, this book is the book in which the Bible comes from, the Kabbalah. Waite's Holy Kabbalah has a passage in there, and they explain, well, who the hell is the Messiah? All these niggas been coming up to you telling you the Messiah. Look at what it says in here on page 321. It says, it is a change to come over the dream of Israel. You dreaming. You dead. You dreaming. You in the dream state. Israel. That's you. Is, Isis, Ra, and El, which means son. You understand what I'm saying? It also means God. You the El. Israel. Now, so that it shall enter into his own on all planes and all worlds, which means different dimensions, by the help of the right spirit renewed in them. They're talking about a spirit being renewed in you. This is the spirit of the Messiah. They're talking about the Messiah is you. Let's go on. It gets even clearer. It is written, renew a right spirit in me. Not a fake spirit or the low spirit or ego. The right spirit. And as we know that Christ, who is to come, is in each one of us. That's the key to the whole thing that we're dealing with, becoming God. Christ is to come, is in each one of us. Who is of Nazareth is of all sons of Joseph. You see, and the heir of the true legitimacy stands ever at the door and knocks. The doorway is the black dot. There's an entity that's your higher self knocking at the damn gate to say, come on into the gates of Jerusalem. You understand? They're talking about the gates. And it says, and it says, who is also the son of David. Now, that goes into the biblical prophecies. Now, this is where you need some pencil and a piece of paper to decode the biblical prophecy. All right? This is it. The last part. We'll close out for what you call it. All right. In the biblical prophecy, these are the keys. I said them on the thing, but I guess I was going so fast on the radio, and I got some more on here. These are the keys. Now, in order for you to read the Bible got a big damn line right in the middle of that thing that annoys the hell out of me. The Bible got a big line in the middle. You understand? So now, I suggest get subsequent books. Even though this cracker is Christianized, I want you to get some subsequent books, because this cracker here don't hold no punches. I like him. Every now and then, I get so many books until every now and then I got to get simplistic books, because to tell it like it is. I think I got one right up here. These are the ones. Then we'll go into that. His name is Grant R. Jeffrey. His books cost anywhere from $4.99 to $5.99. I say if you get a $20 bill, get all of them. He's got over 20-something or 30-something years in the apocalypse alone. Grant R. Jeffries. Little soft bags for $4. His books include Armageddon and Appointment with Destiny. Armageddon, Appointment with Destiny. That's one of his books. The other book is The Messiah, The War in the Middle East and the Road to Armageddon. Well, since you know who the Messiah is, if you got a Bible and you got these books, it's going to be a guidebook to your soul. His other book is Heaven, the Last Frontier. And this book is called The Apocalypse, the Judgment of the Nations. Now, to save you some money, I would suggest, first of all, because he covers, because he's an apocalyptic thing, apocalyptic author, he covers all of it in each book. So I suggest get these two, Apocalypse, Judgment of the Nations, and The Messiah in the Middle East and the War of Armageddon. And his new book that just came out in May called The Prince of Darkness, The Mark of the Beast, 666 in the New World Order. Prince of the Darkness, and he tells you it's the white European nations. Now, but I like these two. I really enjoyed this one, and I like these two. This one, Heaven, the Last Frontier, is a real good one, too. Now, I did like Heaven, the Last Frontier because he goes into the Ark of the Covenant in here. And he's got a picture of the Ark of the Covenant on the front. And Ethiopian Haile Selassie. Now, but get all of his books if you can. Because I would suggest you read these sometime in the Bible. Why? Because, first of all, he deals with apocalyptic books like Daniel, Malachi, Revelations, Exodus, you understand, and Matthew. So I like these. But tonight, you're just going to pick up your Bible. First of all, going down the list on the codes, the Messiah, that's you, black people. Jerusalem, anytime you hear Jerusalem, that's your soul. So when you hear Jerusalem, that's your soul. You see? Christians, that's black people. If you see Christians in there, that's you. Do you see Christians? Is there such thing as Christians in the Bible, in the scriptures? Do they say Christians? They don't. So if you see Christ, that means black people. Christ comes from the word of Christos. And Christos means what? Anointed one. And anointed one, you anoint the head. And you anoint the head with oils. Oil comes from the original oil, which is crude oil. And crude oil is black. So they talk about melanin when they talk about Christ. The Christ energy, the Christ sun is melanin, black people. Mount of Olives. The Mount of Olives is melanin. An olive is black, an olive is green. They tell you that melanin is in all of the plant life, and melanin is in everything black. But you know, Osiris is a black god, and Osiris is a green god of vegetation. You see what I'm saying? Shadow of death. The shadow is the Jung interpretation, which means negrito. And negrito means the blackening stage, and it means melanin. So anytime you see, yea, through I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you see the movie, the show Sliders. When you slide, you go through the black hole. Shadow of death, melanin. Okay. You shall pick up serpents as the foundation of your faith. That's in Psalms, I think. I can't remember. Pick up serpents as the foundation of your faith. The white people out there got a church, they picking up snakes, getting bit and shit. Because they, you know, they don't understand. Pick up serpents is metaphysical. They're talking about your kundalini rising to the top as the foundation of your faith. You understand? Raising that spiritual energy. Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness. It's metaphysical. You live in the wilderness now. Some call it Babylon. Some call it the great Satan. Arabs call it the great Satan. Picking up the serpents in the last day, your kundalini rising, and you tapping into consciousness. So Moses picked up the serpent in the wilderness. That's picking up, raising the kundalini. It says, I will open up a door for you. Jesus is going to say that in one of the scriptures. That's the black dot. The anointed one, which also means melanin. The church. Anytime you see church, temple, cathedral, any of that, they're talking about your body. So they say they're going to build the temple of Jerusalem. That's talking about you. Your black body is the temple of God. The autonomy of the body of God. Israel, I said before, time again, is black people. Israel. So anytime you see Israel, they're talking about you. Israel becoming a nation. That's when black people became to the west. Israel became a nation when you came to the west. Got that? Son of man. The Son of Man. Just as the sun reaches the whatever comes to the west, so shall the Son of Man. The Son of Man really means the Son of Man, which means the Son in man. Your son inside of you. It just means the one in the west going to be the first to get it. Because you were the ones, the original Israel nation that came together as a covenant. So you get it for the rest of the snake head, the snake body. You see, that's that reptilian thing again. You kill the snake head, and that's when you really kill it. Now, but it's in the head, the star head ones, the black dot. So the Son of Man means the son inside of man. You got a son inside of you called the black dot. Okay. Christ at the head of the church. Your body is the church, which is the temple. Christ at your head is the black dot opening up, and your crown chakra opening up, which is your Christ consciousness. Christ at the head of the church. Jews. Anytime you see Jews, other than the fake Jews they tell you of the synagogue of Satan, anytime they talk about Jews in there, that comes from the word, another ancient word, that the Jews and the Egyptians were one and the same. Despite what the mythology say, they're one and the same. Jews, based on the what's called it, come from the word Shusenhar. And the word Shusenhar means the disc worship. And the disc worship is not talking about worshiping the disc. They're talking about the divine sun, which is on the inside of you. Shusenhar later on becomes the Egyptian word shu, and then a linguistic term shu, jewels. But shu, Shusenhar is the oldest representation coming off the temples in Egypt. Shusenhar, which is meaning that the Egyptians, Jews, all of them people is all the same people. Northern Ethiopians, And before they were Egyptians and all that, it was some other race. But we talk about black people, not no white people. Now, if you got a debate on that, I'm not saying it wasn't a cultural difference. Obviously it was. But I'm saying they one people, mainly black people. Now, well, all black people. Anytime you see clouds in the Bible and horses in the Bible, them UFOs. Clouds and horses, that's UFOs. That's why in this particular one, you're going to get, look at this. In this particular one, you're going to see this. I'm going to tell you the one. It's going to be Revelations, let's see, in this book, 279. Look at this. Y'all bear with me. We about out of here. Y'all bear with me. I want to give you this. In this 279, I want to give you the one in here, Revelation 279. Look. 279. And when the battle is at high, Jesus is riding on a white horse and descending from heaven. It's going to be in Revelations 19:11. And it says the sky opened. And it say a sky opened and a man sat on a white horse. And on the white horse, he had armies of angels that was also with him on white horses. It say a great cloud. And anytime you see cloud and horses, it's going to be UFOs. Now, it's going to be UFOs. Very key. Look, locusts. Anytime you see locusts, that's the UFOs. If you get the book of the Tongues of the Flesh, he said it's going to be he said it was going to be 3 million. That was in 1950 something. It's going to be more than that now. Anytime you see white linen robes, now this is the key. Jesus is coming. He coming on a cloud in Armageddon. He riding the white horse. They say he had an army with him. They say that he who sat on the robe had a white robe sprinkled with blood. They say but the people on the horses had robes on too. So that means that if they was on white horses and had the white robes, that's your white aura that extends about 3 inches from your body, which is the white aura. That means that if they had on white robes, that means that he was no different than them. And believe it or not, that's y'all. Y'all gonna be the ones on that doggone army. All of us that's coming into this consciousness, we the ones that's gonna be into that army. Because you the ones that's the ones. Everybody else is asleep. Now, it says right here, so anytime you see white robes, that means the aura. The crown of life, that's the crown chakra. It says east gate is the pituitary gland, west gate is the pineal gland, north gate is the crown chakra, and south gate is the root chakra. East gate is the pituitary gland, west gate is the pineal gland, north gate is the crown chakra, and south gate is the root chakra. They say Jesus is going to come from the east gate. That means the pituitary gland in the back of the head is going to open up and it's going to open up, and he's going to go through to the west gate, which is the pineal gland. But in there, I think it was in the little book here, he said, after that, Christ can only come through the east gate. Didn't say the east gate is sealed up. And man can't come through it. He's talking about the white man. The white man can't come through it for the simple fact he don't have no black dot. So Gates is talking about coming through different dimensions in your head, and he don't have that. So they say Christ's going to come through it. So you think only Jesus Christ. No, hell, you Christ. Because the Christ is in you. You see, so anytime you see that, the gates that's talking about these particular chakras and pineal glands. Bethlehem, Beth which means house, Ham which means black. Bethlehem means the black house, and you know as a house and a temple is the black body. Star or sun in Bethlehem, which is also star in the black temple, and the sun inside of you, the Bethlehem. You understand that? Abraham. Abraham comes from the word Abra, which means sun. Ham, which comes from the word Cam, which means black. Abraham means the black son. So how the hell can some white Jews say they the sons and daughters of damn Abraham? Abraham means the black son, which means melanin. Which is this with you the seed of Abraham. Emmanuel. Aman, which means hidden. El, which means son, which means Amen-Ra, which means hidden son, the hidden son in you. Emmanuel and Amen-Ra is the same, which means hidden son inside of you. Star of David is Sirius. Also, Star of David is the star inside of you, which is the black dot. The throne of David is Sirius. In Egypt, it's the throne of Isis, the stone seat, which is Sirius. You see. Abyss, that's the black hole. The beast, two kind of beasts. There's the beast that they talk about, the false prophet that will rise up against the Messiah. That's the white man on the physical. The other beast is the animal activism, which is inside of you, 666, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, which adds up to carbon, carbon is the basis of all life forces in the cosmos, which is melanin, which is the basis of melanin, carbon. So beast means the white man, and there's another beast, which is 666, which is a key to the Bible. In the Alistair Crowley Kabbalistic Dictionary, 666 Kabbalistic add up to one of the names of Jesus, coming from the Kabbalah, which is the esoteric Bible. Okay. Sin. The word sin. Sin means restriction, and restriction means the physical body. So you are born in sin, which means you're born in the physical body, which is restricted. Not how you act, whether you damn get horny and go out here and screw 4 or 5 people. God could care less. God look on you like some damn ants. Do you give a damn what some ants do down there? Huh? Well, that's the way hell God look at you in the physical. God only any action to you is based on your spirit, Jerusalem, the soul. He don't give a damn about nothing more you do. They just put that in for the damn white people and for you at this particular dispensation of time, because you had lost all your godhood. God don't give a damn about morality whatsoever. That's dogma. And that's social. That has nothing to do with doggone spirituality whatsoever. That's for babies. That's kindergarten. Born in sin means born in the physical body. He said, I will free you from your sins. It means free you from the physical body, which is restriction. That's what sins is. It's all metaphysical. Got nothing to do with no sins about your behavioral thing. God too busy trying to make sure the earth don't bump into the damn sun to worry about what the hell you did on Friday night. It's mere garbage. You see what I'm saying? Sunday school, and we never graduate from Sunday school. Sleep Nation. You will see Sleep Nation. You know who that is. That's us. We are Sleep Nation. You see what I'm saying? Sleep Nation. Also, you're going to see Sheep Nations. God's going to come in Revelation and say he's going to separate the sheep from the goats. A sheep got curly lamb's wool, and that's you. A goat has straight hair. So he said he's going to tell the goat nations to come on to the kingdom of God. The sheep nations to come on to the kingdom of God, and he's going to cast the goat nations in a fiery furnace. That means metaphysically, he's going to raise the fire in all of us, but your fire takes you through the gateway to the cosmic gate. That's the Kundalini fire, the hell fire. The hell fire to the white man, since he don't have no gateway, he burns up. Because he has no place to go. He has no opening, no gate. So sheep nation means black people, the lamb, lamb's wool. Black, lamb. The word shepherd. Shepherd means, shepherd lets you know that God is black. Well, what kind of God are you? Are you a goat herder? Are you a shepherd? Well, I'm a goat herder. That means you're the white man. I'm a shepherd, which means I attend to the sheep, which is the lamb's wool people. So God is my shepherd, telling you God is black. That's the meaning to it. Metaphysical. You see what I'm saying? Metaphysical. Okay. Heaven. Heaven is simply another dimension. Sliders. Same earth, new dimension. What it means. You don't have to go up or nothing like that. It's already here. This is the kingdom. In the Kabbalah, it's called Malkut, the kingdom. The kingdom will be changed into a righteous kingdom, or a heavenly kingdom, a new kingdom. Chosen seed of Israel. You got the seed in you, the black dot. Israel is black people. Chosen seed is your seed. You are saved by Christ. You are saved when you go to the other dimension. Those who don't have the black dot or the gateway to get the hell out of here, they can't go. They can't get to the Father but through the Son inside of you. So because they don't have the Son, they cannot be saved. It ain't got a damn thing to do with you going there and some asshole preacher telling you saved from what? Stupidity. Ignorance is bliss, a folly to be wise. Ain't got a damn thing to do. Some black girl, this girl ain't up at 23. 22 the other week. I can't, told my good friend, I can't see you no more. Don't curse around me. I got saved the other night. I can't have sex no more. Bullseye. Sex is the most spiritual vessels to God. And you know what constitutes marriage in real life? Having sex. Who you lay down with is your wife. Bottom line. Not no piece of paper and no ceremony. That's bottom line. That's the cosmic way. How the hell he going to tell you to go forth and multiply? He didn't say married people go forth and multiply. He said go forth and multiply. Married is a sacred vow between you. Who you go with is your wife. That's bottom line. And ain't got nothing to do with how the hell God going down ordained the white man to give you a piece of paper, and God said, I respect that. A cracker who wasn't even here a couple of years ago. Stupid shit. You see, Ark of the Covenant. The covenant is black people. Black people have sons in them, and sons in them are called arks. Arks is also called UFO. There is a literal Ark of the Covenant, that chest of Osiris, but the Ark of the Covenant, you are the arks, because you are the angels, and angels is arks, and the covenant. Covenant is you. You have a covenant to God, which is your sun and your disk. Once it ignites, you're covenant with God. You're back among the stars. You know, false prophet, white man. You know that. Devil, white man. You see what I'm saying? Chasing money temples, money changers from the temple. This is your temple. The cracker is on you with the money, the luxury. God gonna chase the cracker away because he's the money changer, capitalism. God chased money. Jesus chased the money changers from the temple. Once your cries rise up, you say, I don't need that shit no more. I'm Jesus, I'm Christ. I chase the money changers away, which means you kill their ass. White man, mutant, devil, devil. You see what I'm saying? Anything you see up in there is talking about the white man. You see, when they say you shouldn't lay with a woman as a man, that wasn't talking about black people. Although black people are homosexuals, they are homosexuals based on conditioning. So a homosexual black person ain't no different than a black person walking around here with fucking orange hair. But the homosexuality is the white man's nature. So when he's saying that, he's talking about the nature of people. He's not interested in your social function. He's talking about the nature of those asexual Greeks. You see, no. Old Testament, New Testament. Old body, new body. Nothing to do with no damn two books. Both books got the same scriptures. One is the New Testament is just as damn old as the New, as the Old. Old Testament, New Testament, old body, new body. Nothing to do with no doggone, I follow the New Testament, I follow the Old Testament, some fucking books. God said we got many books and we got the main book with us. That's just a fragment. Old body, new body. Second coming of Christ. You were God's. You were at your Christ energy one time in Atlantis and Lemuria. You fell, the fallen angels. Now you get ready to return back to your godhood. Second coming of Christ. Your Christ energy igniting in you the second time. Simple. See, it just breaks down religion once you know the codes. White robe, aura. White horse, which means spaceship. You see what I'm saying? Christ will arrive in the East Gate. I already said that one. Okay, look at this one. Failing to repent your sins. This is your physical body. When it rises, the white boy don't have the black dot. He failed to get rid of his body. Because this is all he got. He can't get through the gateways. So those who fail to repent their sins will be burned up in fire. That's the Kundalini. White people will fail to repent your sin. I don't give a damn if a black person kills them all day long. Drink all the liquor. If he got the black God in him, he's gone. You see, because he's already been chosen. He was chosen when he was born. Check. Okay. Now check this out. Look at this. This is going to be on page 182 in the Messiah book. Grandma Jeffrey. Let's look at this one thing here. We're going to get on out of here. I want to read this to you. 182. What's that? No. 181. Here it is. Okay. This is what it says. The second reason why God will judge the nations in Armageddon is because the nations fail to repent their sins. That's white people. See what I'm saying? That's doggone white people. Let's go right on and see about a few other things. It says the Passover. The Passover is not talking about the killing of those who have royal blood. That means when this cosmic energy comes, it's going to pass over you if you got the black God.
apocalypse, the end time thing. So Passover is talking about the cosmic energy coming in and not burning you up and killing you. Because you got the black God, it just ignites you. That's what Passover means. Red Sea. Red Sea, he parted the Red Sea. Moses parted the Red Sea. That ain't nothing but going into parting and going opening up a doorway and going into another dimension. From evil Pharaoh. You see, Moses was the liberator in this time. Not Pharaoh back then. You see what I'm saying? So he delivers Israel, which means the evil Pharaoh, he parts the Red Sea, which means you go through the cosmic abyss because you have the energy. The white boy can't take the energy because he's a mute. So when he goes through this shit, he burns up. Or the sea caves in on him. Talking about going through another dimension is what it says. Dead Sea. The Dead Sea Scroll. Dead Sea. You are the sea of people is dead. You understand what I'm saying? You are the people is dead. That's what it means. Now look at these. There's few things there with me. I just got to say we can get help. The reason that God will destroy armies and nations at Armageddon, first of all, they are determined to destroy the people of Israel. That's the main reason. The reason why he's got to come to destroy it, because every other race around the world is a mutant, like the white man, not the indigenous people. They are determined to destroy you. They're not stringing you along for a few years until they find out what to do with you, but they are determined. That's in the man's book. The purpose of Armageddon on page 280 in the Messiah. It's a book he's kicking ass in this book. The third reason for the destruction is, the second reason was the failure. The first reason was white people refuse. They are determined to destroy you. The second one is white people will fail to repent their sins, which means they can't get through this. The third reason is the destruction is that God will finally judge mankind. You see, for the total abuse of the planet and its resources. Now, who the fuck is that? The white man. That's on page 180. The three reasons of Armageddon on page 180 and 181 in this book. We'll go down the book, kick it mighty good ass. Check. Right on now. Let's go on to the last little part. And last little part, well, I tell you what, it's getting late, so we can do some things. We can go into some questions and answers right now. We're going to some question and answer right now. Look at this. Write this down. Bible verse. Mothership and Elijah on the mothership. Let's see the Bible verse. Mothership and Elijah on the mothership. On 2 Kings, verse 6, 17. 2 Kings, verse 6, 17. I pray, Lord, I pray, open his eyes that he may see. Then the Lord opened his eyes, and the young man saw. And behold, a mountain was full of horses, and the carts and chariots. Remember I told you horses, clouds, chariots is also. Chariots of fire, all around Elijah. Mountains was filled with chariots of fire, which is UFOs all around Elijah. About the mothership, right in this, in 2 Kings, verse 6, 17. Chapter 6, verse 17. Right in the doggone book. Right in the doggone book. Check. Now, so now, what we're going to do is, look at this. And which leads me to this last thing, to give you some more inquiry on that. In this book here, the secret, I always quote from this, the secret book of the Egyptian Gnostics, Jean Duress. On page 75. 75. It said, Jesus and his followers, so the follower of Jesus, this is your body. It's got the Kundalini. The Kundalini follows the serpent trail up to Christ. So the followers of Christ is the followers, your spirit, following the energy up to the Christ level. Not you following no damn Jesus Christ. And that's one key to everybody. That's why it's our religion. Well, I follow Jesus. Well, I follow mom too. But not the way I don't damn worship no man. I follow the Christ. Because the Christ, I follow the trail of the serpent up to the Christ energy. That's what it's talking about. So in here, the followers of Jesus, which means when your cosmic energy open up, on page another ship. When your cosmic gateway open up, Jesus read the secret book of the Egyptian Gnostic, which is full of all the stuff. Because apparently they dug up the Gnostic
You said something about why you turning to spaceship instead of you addressing the question.
What they had found was the book by Thompson. I know his last name is Thompson. It's called Angels and Aliens. So the reason why the Christ ain't been able to, first of all, the reason why he hasn't been able to tell you about these spaceships is because he can't fight what he can't catch or what ain't doing. The spaceships are able to come in the spiritual. You see what I'm saying? Manifest in the physical and go back. When you bring yourself to a spiritual level, the guy has concluded in his book, as well as the spirit told me, ain't up beings of light. The spaceships ain't up beings of light. The guy Thompson in his book, Angels and Aliens, had concluded that most of the spaceships, the real spaceships, not the government-made spaceships, are angels or spiritual beings that have the power to turn into ships. You can do those things. Your body can turn into a vessel, because your body is called a vessel. You see? So those are the things that they say the power of. And a lot of stuff that documents that is the angels and aliens, which he talks about Elijah in his book. As well as this book, God of Eden, William Bramley, that they got some over there. It's dealing with all the spaceship stuff. And he tells you that Moses was of the priesthood of Akhenaten. Okay, what's that?
You said that significant occurrences happen in a year that end with 5. How is Dr. Betty Shadan and the Farrakhan reunion and the Million Man March significant?
Well, the Million Man March is significant. Despite them going to get reparations, they might have an agenda, but the Spirit has an even greater agenda. So a lot of times they say Allah is the best knower, even though some things arrive on this planet or derive on this planet out of one particular agenda. The cosmos oversees everything, and they're going to use that agenda for another big day. See what I'm saying? And I'm quite sure the white man is looking to that day to do his dirty stuff. One thing was suggested, that he's going to try to get some over there. Another thing is suggested, that he's going to try to shoot the Minister Bruce Farrakhan. I'm not saying this is happening, but I'm putting it in your head. Because we don't need to be motherfuckers that always get the shit after.
Right.
We need to know what's going on with folks so you'll know how to jump. Because they usually do some stuff, but we don't know what the hell going on, and we go the wrong way. Now, but what they say is they've got the concentration camps ready for us. So, they have already started it on a great scale as far as what you don't know. But the other thing is the man's way to agitate you to try to get you in the concentration camp, and what better way than killing a black leader? But for right now, they only one black leader the people are fighting for, and that's the Minister of Farrakhan. The rest of the niggas is on the private side. They shot Jesse Jackson in the head, nobody would do nothing. People just go, that's fucked up. That's a nigga, that's fucked up, man. But Farrakhan is the only one that can do that if he can pack that many people in the dog on Georgia Dome. So what I'm saying is, that's one channel we got that can be a possibility. The other one is Ebola.
How would they do that then?
Huh?
How would you do the Ebola?
Did you see outbreak?
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you see how it got airborne?
Okay, yeah.
Don't you know the cracker? Don't you know the cracker? He put the airborne out there for a reason. Don't you know he can contain that airborne? Did he show you how he contained the ship at the end of the movie? Simple. Remember, any virus that the cracker creates, he got the cure for it.
Right.
So they don't have to worry about getting out of hand among his people because they got the cure.
Are they going to allow them to do that?
Let's put it this way. All the cracker got to do is jump on it and do it. The Spirit will make sure that won't even happen. But they would just want the cracker to initiate. Because remember now, everything the cracker tried to do to Israel, he'll judge his own stuff by it. So all he got to do is just make the effort. Not saying that it's going to be successful, but if he just make the effort, then he would be judging his own self. The other thing is the O.J. Simpson trial.
Yeah.
The O.J. Simpson trial is going on 7 months. It went on for 7 months in the last cycle. Started in June and July, all during the city ceremony. They did a preliminary trial. All during the Hero Horizon. and it is going on every day of 1995. You had a trial, except when it started. 1995, every month has had a trial. Let's put it that way. You understand what I'm saying? So that's significant. Now it's interesting because he's talking about ending his trial up. Well, he's talking about ending his trial up in August or September. And either one of those is some months. And September is named after Sirius. Sept, S-E-P-T. Which the trial is greater than him. It's a judgment on himself. All he's doing is showing you how tedious he is. Do you know that O.J. Simpson had 4 knee surgeries? He had one in the 70s, 2 in the 80s, 1 in 86, 1 in doggone 91. They had the guy that wrote the book about NFL players that play with pain and all this stuff. He said some of them people, I've heard this before, after they get out of the NFL, they can't even have adequate sex because their knees, they can't even get on their knees and do the right thing. The woman got to get on top of them. They be all messed up alike. The guy testified at trial last week, a week before last. The guy said, look, he said the man that had 4 knee surgeries. They said, I heard you say in your book that these football players play with pain. He said, yeah, a football player in the NFL playing with pain, but this man been out of the NFL for 10 years, and plus the man is in his 40s. You see what I'm saying? Plus the man had 4 knee surgeries. He said the last knee surgery in 91 we had to put, he said the man had little holes in his knees. We had to plug all that up. The guy said, do you think he had the strength to kill both of them? He said, yes, he had the strength in his hand to kill both of them. He said, but they would have to be stabilized on the ground, or somebody hold them to do it. He said, because even if Nicole or Ron Goldman used any action, he would have to use his lower torso. And then he threw Mickey Mouse with his ass. He said, because he said, there's no way in hell, if he was a struggle, if he had to use any of his lower body, no way in hell he could do it. And as you know, the blood did not fit. I mean, O.J. like he did a damn boo-boo that day. The blood didn't fit. O.J. like he wanted to dance a little bit. Now, even though we know ultimately O.J. got himself in there for sleeping with the beast, but this thing is bigger than O.J. This is a trial. This is one of the great judgment trials. And when it ends up, white people would have judged themselves. It ain't about O.J. What's that?
Okay, I have 2 questions. First one was, there must have been a lot of disappearances of like little young white girls in the Atlanta area, and I was interested in, what it was done. Yeah, the college ones. They had said one was the Navy SEAL was involved with this girl being.
Well, we found out back in '92 that they got farms. They got farms that these rich white men take young girls, young boys, and young ladies. They snatch them up off the streets, and they take them to these farms and they do all kinds of sexual things on them. Especially young boys. So it's and all kind of stuff.
The second question is, did you touch on Congo, the movie at all, a little bit about it?
Which one?
Congo.
Well, I think Congo, I saw it and it didn't deliver what it said. First of all, it took all damn movie to get to the place. Number 2, they wasn't in the place for 4 minutes. So number 4 stuff, and they couldn't reveal all the kind of stuff. I think it could have. I'm quite sure there was a little better physical thing, but it was such a poor job. What you say?
I want to say Tales from the Hood. I saw that today.
Yeah, Tales from the Hood is good.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty deep.
Tales from the Hood was good. Like I said, what's the name is a good movie to go see. It did reveal some of the metaphysical things, not as much. I think this movie Prophecy coming out is going to be an ass kicker. And a movie called Lord of the Illusions. Lord of Illusions. Clyde Barker's movie talking about the devil. Those 2 movies are going to be shit. What's that? Go ahead.
I made an observation about August. I don't know, you may not add to it or see something. There was an article in last week's Constitution, Sunday, but I noticed the article, I think they changed it because, sometimes you look at the paper on Saturday. Well, the Saturday's version of the Sunday they picked last week, I think it was page 811, they were talking about the Chinese leap year. They were dealing with the month of August. Basically, what they were saying is that each year or something like it, they have a leap year where they repeat a month. And they were saying that the month of August is the dreadful year, leap year, because when they repeat August twice, it's something about drastic things happening, and it happens once every 19 years. So I was thinking that...
and they were saying this one is going to be the one?
Yeah, they were already saying that a lot of stuff is happening already this year.
But in the point that...
August doesn't have any holidays.
Right.
Only Monday.
And see, also, too, we got to look at this part, too, about August. First of all, August also, we got to realize that in this particular book, in the book of Outbreak, it starts on August 19th. August 19th. And August 19th is 8/19, and 8/19 is 27. And right here, here's some stuff on 27. 27 is also the number of Mars. It's also the number, it is the Horus, the warrior god. It also is things of wrath and heaven fire, fire from heaven. It's also the arrow, is a form of that eagle Sagittarius, lion serpent, Abraxas, Anubis. Also, the Anubis can be interchangeable of a dog and a lion sometimes. People don't know that. Also, they say things of wrath. They also say in the Tarot it's called a tower, and the tower is the physical tower being destroyed. So 27 is also, that date they gave is also 27. And also 2, which is things of wrath and vengeance, they said. You know, so I'm saying the way things are, we're right in the middle of it. So what happened was, like the white boy told me this. When he was telling me that the crackers are done instruments so that they can cool out the prophecies and numb you to them, or what they say, numb you to them. And what happens is, he said, the change gonna come like a twinkling of an eye. Because